somewhere between cravats and Canadians, between All Out and Starcade 83, there resides a come-as-you-are fandom better than a bunkhouse stampede. Somewhere between 86 Crockett and modern-day New Japan, between 83 Memphis and some elite golden plans. There's a man who's had so many concussions he thinks CTE is well, he forgot that line. And a girl who makes Effie look just slightly curious from time to time. It's time for John and Raja, or perhaps Raja and John, as they will put over Corny as well as Mr. Tony Khan. We are the future, the present, and the past. You'll never see it coming. It's the Blind Tag Wrestling Podcast! And hello, and welcome to the BTW Podcast, or it would be the Blind Tag Wrestling Podcast for all you acronymists out there, people who can't stand acronyms. It's a true thing, I've come to find out. So if you got a problem with acronyms, pal, you got a problem with me. Understand?
You got a problem with literally every wrestling federation.
Well, you do, but not all of them have like cool little double entendres about everything with...
No.
It's Blind Tag Wrestling, plus it's You'll Never See It's Coming, and it's BTW, which means, well, by the way, we never actually come out and said that. We should sign on every week with, by the way.
We've given the secret away.
Well, yeah, it could be, by the way. And I mean, it'd be like, welcome to the Blind Tag Wrestling Podcast, and by the way.
We got a lot going on.
Yeah, exactly. We might do that from now on. And the only cool people that are going to know that are you guys. If you started at episode 5, you're such a loser. I mean, you're such a loser. You didn't know this, and you never went back in time because you're like, well, it's dated. Well, you know what? That's why we put old stuff in here, too, so it's not dated.
Yes, it is something for everyone at any time.
Yeah, absolutely. There's stuff for cadavers and, like, youngins and 18 to 34 and 18 to 80 cripple blind and crazy.
Over 50.
Yeah, that was the old promo. That was the old, I like them 8 to 80 cripple blind and crazy.
Oh, God.
And they weren't playing. Yeah.
No, I imagine not.
No, they weren't. I mean, pro wrestling, folks. Pro wrestling. So we got a lot to unpack this week. I mean, obviously, we're coming off the Rumble.
The Rumble.
The Rumble and the Jumble.
It was a jumble.
It was a jumble. As far as we're concerned, you'll hear some good stuff from other people. And then you'll hear our take on it, which is not the same as what most people's was. Even when I stewed on a little bit. Sometimes when I stew on things, because I'm not just born a dick, I'm like, well, it wasn't that much of an overbite.
There were some good things.
Yeah, like it ended. They eventually found the damn key. Or were able to find the hole. We hate to be his girlfriend. I mean, it was like really...
Poor Paul Heyman.
It was rough. I mean, for me. And I think people are just very forgiving of things.
Of course.
I think that WWE is...
Human error.
They're like your simple cousin.
Oh, it's okay. You take your time.
Yeah, or I understand. It's a natural reaction. I get it. But if you walk in on your other cousin, AEW, in the other room, and they're remotely touching themselves, you're just kind of like, whoa. Well, what the hell is that, AEW? What is that? No,
that's so inappropriate.
No, yeah, I saw you looking at. You crossed your legs and crossed them back. There's something going on, and I don't like it. I don't care. I don't care what your cousin's doing. No, I don't care. Well, in another room, you're hearing, yay, and
they get away with a lot.
You're kind of like, it's all right. I mean, they've done it before, much worse, so it's fine.
This is better than normal.
Absolutely.
Above average.
Yeah, it could be much, much worse. It could be 5 hours.
Jesus.
It's not 5 hours. It's a nice and tidy 3 hours. So it's just fine.
Well, thank goodness for that.
I mean, listen, I can only imagine how forgiving everybody would be if, say, on AEW, they had a girl who disappeared and reappeared as someone else. I'm sure that the women's division, and that's the thing. They're like, well, nobody really goes as far as, because it's Johnny Ace obviously talking about all of it. nobody really goes as far as the E with the women. You know, I mean, we really do that women's evolution thing better than anybody, because we got our own goddamn fucking battle royal, and it's a whole hour worth of shit. If we put up with it, let them little tootsie folks go out there and hop around their little asses, and we treat them with damn respect. We sure do, my diggy dog. And I get that, and I hear that argument a lot.
Yeah.
And they're just like, and all they did on the other show was put them out there and let them have a wrestling match. There was almost no hate. That's what I normally hear. It's like, they had them out there. It's almost no. There's no goddamn fans. There's no fucking heat. The only heat you got is like canned heat, okay? Just because somebody's really getting creative on one of the shows with the This Is Awesome chants and the freaking other, and on the other, poor show, we have a frozen ass gun club in the front row trying to keep themselves warm, with
shivering
with
as they chant.
Walking commercial for Adderall, freaking Middle Gun, whatever the fuck his name is, and he's out there like, yeah, I'm gonna hum the Jungle Boy song, yeah, and I mean, it looks like Billy's got his thumb up his ass like a puppet most of the time. And I don't have any problem with these guys. I'm just saying, Middle Gun is like very over the top, man. Very over top. And that's the whole laugh track. It's like they got no, they don't have a laugh track. They got the guns. I think Grandma Gun and Uncle Festus Gun's up in the damn rafter somewhere with Dog Gun out in the car, like just waiting. Just, it's crazy. There's a difference.
It's a double standard.
I'm telling you, if Britt Baker disappears and comes back as like, Demon Britt, she's the Demon Barber. I thought she was the dentist. It's close enough.
She's Sweeney Todd.
It's fine. People won't remember from week to week. That's what I feel like WWE thinks.
Oh, Jesus.
It's just like, I'm not even going to get into the Ricochet thing, but he lost a match.
Yeah.
He wasn't
supposed to be there.
Where he's not allowed in there, and then it's like, and the next number, Ricochet. And it's just like, what?
Oh.
I don't get it. The overall arcing problem, I'm sorry, I love you, Uncle Dave, is not the age of the participants. I don't care if they were all 69, all right? It's the booking and lack thereof creativity. It's what it should say on the door. Creative department. Lack thereof. I mean, is it the more people you add around a table, the dumber the decisions get?
Must be. It's just diluted, I guess. Like, there's too many ideas going in that they just don't have anything solid.
And everybody's praising it to death. I mean, the favorite match, top match on the poll, was Roman Reigns and Kevin Owens.
Yeah.
How can you vote best match of a show when the finish is so fucked up that the referee stands there at the count of 7 and then just tries to melt into the floor?
It just pretends he's not there
because
anymore.
He can see that this is not going to happen, that this is not going to get opened up, and he just kind of melts in the floor. This never happened. We're never going to address this, even though we can make an angle of it.
Oh, he's crouching. He's technically on his feet.
Yeah, and I never want to hear another argument. Look, I don't get in on the arguments anyway. But like when somebody screws up on the other show that people are actually critical of, like some of the dumbass people in the world are critical of this, and they obviously have never watched it.
Yeah.
That's I watch them both.
Yeah.
I watch them both. I pay for the network. I'm not a freaking Tampa Bay Pirate, And there's no I'm talking about the Pirates, like the WrestleMania coming up for the second time in a row. Damn shame Kyrie Sane's not there. No, it's really not. Run, Kyrie, run.
Get out.
It's just crazy. It's just crazy to me because you got a mess up over there with Eddie Izzard himself there, not getting eliminated completely, and you point that out. Raj is the Battle Royal freaking... You can't get away with shit in a Battle Royal without this girl catching it.
I'm actively watching for it.
Yeah, so I mean...
It's because WWE has messed with me so bad on it. Because every Battle Royal finish is the same.
Yeah. Which is somebody's going to be laying around somewhere.
Yeah, somebody you think is eliminated is not actually going to be eliminated, and they're going to come back. Usually they'll win it. Usually. Not always.
But, Eddie Kingston didn't get eliminated, and then they made an angle out of it.
Yeah.
Matches.
Yeah, they did a whole feud over it.
Yeah. I don't think that actually was supposed to happen.
No, probably not.
It's just and they own up to their mistakes, and it seems that on WWE they just kind of gloss it over, like we don't.
Like they pretend it didn't happen.
Yeah, like no, nothing happened there.
Gaslighting us.
Yeah, absolutely.
You're crazy. I don't know what you're talking about.
Absolutely, and I wasn't even planning this. Like I was completely fine, and I was just going to go straight, and I'm going to recover myself now. and we do have the review coming up.
We're gonna bring it back now.
And I'm going to give the review what it's
fair shake.
Absolutely. I couldn't get the words out, but I was trying.
We're going to be professional.
It's okay though, because we got a good comeback at the end today, because our main event today is going back into a wonderful, very timely show with the St. Valentine's Day Massacre.
Woo.
Yeah, just some fun stuff. I want to start off, though, really talking about something that sucks, and that's we lost another one. Butch Reed, who was 66 years old, major star when I was a kid, and some of the things I remember about him, he was like one of those African Americans that really transcended the fact that you didn't think about the fact if he was black or white. At least I didn't, and it was really his incredible physique. Really before WWF, he was just amazing. And I would see him in the magazines. I didn't even get to see his good run firsthand with Mid-South. Florida and Mid-South, he had some classic matches with Ric Flair, and that's where I would see him. Is back then, you had your Pro Wrestling Illustrated and the whole family of magazines. I got all the after mags and every off-brand mag. I still have them all, by the way. Mm-hmm. But I got everything I could get. I mean, every Tuesday going to the newsstand was my favorite thing in the world, just getting all my magazines. Some of them were the shits. I mean, you had like Wrestling Thigh and, whatever. It was just bad, but I still loved them all because that's the way I found the Steve DeSalvos of the world. Hello, Steve Strong. I see you out there, Billy Jack Strong. All right, but there was a lot of cool stuff in there, but nothing was one of those things that popped in my head that made me want to see something more than this guerrilla press of Butch Reed on Ric Flair. I remember thinking, wow, and it was talking about how he took him to the limit. Well, I didn't know everybody took Flair to the limit, and that was the gimmick. I just knew that there was like a little quip in one of the magazines about how Butch should have won it, and he was like such a top contender. And I was thinking at the time, man, that's awesome. That guy looks really cool. And then when I did see him the first time, with WCW or NWA, actually, I got to see him live quite a bit because he came in, he did the Team of Doom, and man, I seen them way too much probably because they did a lot of TV tapings around here, so they killed the town off of like doing 17 freaking hours in a night and all this stuff, but I was there front row for all of it. You can actually see a really cool one of little baby me front row. December 89 taping, they did way too many shows, and I'm front row on Pro. I think they did a Pro taping, but Doom literally comes out, I don't know, 5 times.
Oh, goodness.
But I got to see Stan Lane 5 times too, so my little happiness was, if you ever want to see early signs that I may be curious, watch the video of me when Stan Lane's coming out.
Oh, goodness.
I look like a 16-year-old raging hormone chick from 1983 Memphis. And when you see the guys coming out in Mid-South Coliseum, that's me. And it's a few years later, and Bobby Eaton's involved too,
Right.
But Stan Lane's coming out. I'm like, Stan! Oh God! But I got his wrist tape because of it.
Oh.
Yeah, so maybe
nice.
Stan was curious as well. But Butch Reed, he was born Bruce Reed, and he was a college football player at Central Missouri, and he got a tryout with the Kansas City Chiefs,
Ooh.
which is pretty awesome. He started wrestling in Central States in 78. He got big pushes in main events in the Central States, St. Louis, Florida, Georgia, including multiple classic title matches with Ric Flair. Bill Watts brought him into Mid-South Wrestling in 83 as a babyface, then turned him heel to feud with Junkyard Dog. When he turned him back to face after Dog left, he ended up having a falling out with Watts. He was in WWF from 86 to 88, which really sucked, man. And he had bleach blonde hair. That's one of the parts that sucked.
Oh, God.
He pretty much copied the Sweet Daddy Siki gimmick, and Vince thought that a black wrestler with bleach blonde hair would be a gigantic heel to wrestling fans, but it never happened. Reed was one of the best in the business from around 81 to 85, but his work tailed off At one point, he was scheduled to beat Ricky Steamboat for the IC title, but it never happened. Apparently, throughout his career, he had some issues, no shows and things like this that, are getting burned out. And, that neither here nor there at a time, like, in my opinion, when someone passes. But Reed did once sell out Madison Square Garden with the last MSG main event of superstar Billy Graham. He worked for Crockett from WCW 1988 to 92, best known for his tag team Doom, which previously mentioned with Ron Simmons. But really, his career was over by 1992. He worked the Indies afterwards. His last match is believed to be 2011.
Wow.
After he stopped wrestling full time, he competed as a rodeo cowboy. He was part of the concussion lawsuit against WWE, but he forgot about it. And honestly, I would like to think that Butch Reed would have laughed at that.
Probably.
I'm
sure the rodeo didn't help.
Oh no, you don't think that would have contributed to anything? I think that should either they should pay you off instantly when they find out you joined a rodeo, or they should not allow it. You know what I mean? It's one or the other. It's like some judge I could be like, oh, he joined the rodeo.
Oh, okay.
Okay, well, here's the check.
Yeah.
Somebody let Mr. McMahon know it might not be a good day. Or they're like, oh, well, that guy's insane.
Yeah.
Let's.
It obviously wasn't the concussion's fault.
Sadomasochist. I mean, come on.
Yeah.
But really, the rodeo is just another incarnation of everything we do.
Mm-hmm.
Basically, strippers, rodeo riders, and wrestlers and roller skaters are very much the same.
Wow, what a list.
Yeah, and indie rock guys.
Of course.
Not anything above that, but the old school when they played instruments.
Right.
Not this whatever the hell that thing was on Royal Rumble. And I don't care how popular it is. And see, I'm a big fan of anything Latino. As you know. I mean, Latino is the way to go.
Yeah.
And I love it. Like, most of my favorite wrestlers are actually like luchadors and stuff.
Of course, I know that.
But I don't know what the hell the Bad Bunny gimmick is, but man, I just really...
We're not much of a fan of that genre of music anyway.
But when it's good, I like it.
I'm not much of a fan of that genre of music.
If anything is good, has some sort of rhythmic nature to it. You know what I mean?
Of course.
I can go back to my cave roots.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, if you can beat on a brontosaurus head or something, and and it's got any kind of rhythm to it at all,
you'll start tapping your foot.
Yeah, it's like ooh ah, I'm fine, whatever. But that, and I don't even remember you saying Booker T. Maybe at the very end or whatever. But anyway, rest in peace, Butch Reed. Wrestle in peace, I should say. So something good on WWE for WWE.
Right.
Parker Boudreaux, the new signee. This kid looks like Brock Lesnar.
Yes.
I mean, he does.
Just like him.
6'4", 301 pounds is what he was last listed at. University of Central Florida. He was a starting right guard in 2019. He didn't play in 2020 season for a concussion.
Oh.
Probably not a best sign, but
no.
He's already been signed to WWE, and he also quit the team right before his senior season. So this coming season would have been his senior season, and he's full-time wrestling. So he's been romanced by Paul Heyman.
Of course.
So he is a Heyman guy. And Paul Heyman obviously has a type.
Yeah, you think?
Yeah, if I was booking, it'd be, oh, John, he just he hired another brunette. She looks like she could whoop somebody's ass. But,
like she might do magic on the side.
She might do a little magic. I don't know. But yeah, he definitely has a type. This kid is talent, man. I mean, he's raw talent.
And I hope he finds a way to stand out and he's not just constantly compared to Brock Lesnar for his entire career.
Well, I mean, most of the guys on the roster are so interchangeable.
Mm-hmm.
That's one of my things. I mean, when you are doing promos that are somebody else's.
Yeah.
And you're wrestling a formulaic match that you're taught to wrestle that way.
Everything's the same.
It's very interchangeable.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's hard to stand out, in my opinion.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And, hopefully you're right. Hopefully he has something that he can stand out with. I think, once they make their name and their main roster doing really good, I think you're allowed more freedom to do things that get you to stand out. But getting there in the first place is kind of...
Yeah, difficult.
Well,
he's already got the look and everything, so...
He's got the look.
Good luck to him.
He's got the look. Must have took 12 hours just to put on your face, baby. Sorry, I forget the Prince song, exactly how it goes. But with everything new, we must throw old things out. And speaking of things getting thrown out, Lars Sullivan is no longer on the roster. He was released. And, there's rumors as to why he was released. I mean,
yes,
it's hard to
lots
tell.
Of rumors.
Could have been the stalking or the porn or the anxiety attacks or, something.
Any number of things.
He quit wrestling, though, which, it's unfortunate. The way the guy looks, he was such an old school look.
Mm-hmm.
He really was. He looked like some heel that would have been Saturday mornings when I was a kid. He just had that butt ugly look to him.
Right.
That's marketable. It's like, you could get character parts for sure.
Oh, yeah.
Well, he's
definitely.
already proven that. he had a real grimacy face, Other than that, Steve Cutler was also released. And that's Don Purrazzo's beau.
Right.
Who is currently an Impact Knockout champion.
Well, I guess we know where Steve Cutler's going.
One would think, or hope.
Or
that's the place he ends up. For him. I mean, I'd like to see the guy
get a chance.
Get the chance somewhere and go, do the thing that people do, which is spend a cup of coffee in the E and then go somewhere and knock it dead.
Show what you can actually do.
Yeah. I mean, honestly, I had to look him up when I seen he was released. I was like, oh.
Me too.
Oh, yeah. That guy.
But to be fair, they didn't use him properly.
Well, they had that one incident.
Yeah.
Where, somebody said something about something. Somebody say something about something.
About Steve Cutler.
Yeah.
Whoever that guy is.
I don't say stuff about something so we don't get, banned or whatever. So anything political.
Right, yeah, of course.
Because, it triggers somebody.
Yes. That's not this kind of show.
Yeah, I don't mind triggering people. I just don't like triggering people in a way they actually get angry. You can talk about almost anything else, but you just can't talk about political stuff.
No.
That's one of those things that's right up there with the Patriots, which I will still talk bad about. But, you just got to win some and lose some. Did you know that the Peacock deal, now this was in the Observer. I just had to read it and talk about this. This is funny. There's a potential, and this is what is widely believed. At launch, pause and rewind will not be features.
What?
Yeah. Pause and rewind will not. You actually heard me, didn't you? That was your reaction. Was what?
Yes.
Okay, yeah. Pause and rewind will not be features.
You can't pause things?
Or rewind.
Or go back?
Yeah. Yeah, at first.
It's a streaming service.
Well, I guess, they're like, you want to rewind? You're on $5 more, pal. I don't know.
I understand not being able to fast forward if they're going to show you ads, but come on.
Yeah, no, it's pretty...
Pause. Pause is like a human right these days.
Yeah, well, I
think... You
think...
can pause your live cable.
Yeah, I mean, you should be able to pause us. Oh, wait, you can.
You can right now.
And rewind us and listen to all that shit again. Yeah, but who knows, man? You know how this stuff goes. They could totally have it and they just be a feature that's not currently on there for other stuff. But
right.
You got to have it for wrestling. So they'll fix it, I'm sure. I mean, right?
You would think so.
Well, GCW last weekend, it's like been a week ago now. It's crazy. GCW ran the 24-hour live show, or Insanity, as I would like to refer to it.
Ridiculousness.
And poor Brett Lauderdale. Brett Lauderdale, the booker, owner, operator, cool guy. Always been really cool every time I've ever met him. He's awesome, but he ran the whole thing. I mean, he never went to sleep or anything,
right.
they say. So
it is his show.
Yeah, I mean, some of the crazy things that came out of it was the longest match in the U.S. in a long time. I won't say ever as it was billed, but
right.
in a long time, because there has been longer matches. Just you have to go back to 100 years. It's kind of crazy to go back that far, but let's just say modern era.
Right.
They had a 2-hour match.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it was supposed to be an hour. Tony Deppen and Jordan Oliver.
Yes.
But after an hour, they didn't have a winner. They went another hour.
It's just silly. You'd think they'd just go to the next fall.
It's awesome. I think it's awesome. I think it's cool. I mean, if you're going to fill up 2 hours of that 24 with two people.
Yeah, those are the two people to do it with.
Absolutely the two. And the other big thing was Blake Christian having his last match for GCW. More than likely, next place you're going to see him is in NXT. I would imagine. So,
I don't like it.
Well, he's got a lot of friends there. I can say that.
Yes, I know, but I don't want him to go there.
I mean, it's just, it was a cool thing. And the show actually was a success because it was all free on YouTube and Fight to raise money for, the wrestlers. And they raised $53,000.
Wow.
So they wouldn't have had $53,000 if they just ran the show.
No, definitely not.
I promise you that. So that was a hell of a house, really.
Well, thank you to all the generous people who came out to support professional wrestling.
Yeah, really good deal. We almost did an ad on it.
We thought about it.
Yeah, we did think about it. Hey, well, speaking of thinking about something cool, Raja brought this to my attention. I didn't even know it, but CM Punk will be in a wrestling ring, but he's going to be in a wrestling ring as a character on a new TV show called Heels. And no, not just for women. I think it's a cool name. Premise is that two brothers, and I guess since it's filming in Georgia, it'll be in a Georgia indie. But,
I'd imagine so.
Two brothers in the South trying to keep a promotion going. One's a heel, one's a baby. And
perfect.
After their father dies or whatever, they keep it going. And there's CM Punk's one of the wrestlers that's going to be on there. Stephen Amell's in the lead role. And the cool thing is, for you Vikings fans, his brother is going to be Bjorn.
Yes.
So
Alexander Ludwig.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm so excited.
I mean, it sounds awesome. Plus, it's on Stars, so we'll see some naughty bits.
Yes.
Yeah.
All the naughty bits.
Yeah, well, I mean, if it's all the naughty bits, pal, it's going to be a whole different show.
It's professional wrestling. Come on.
Yeah, but I think it'll be awesome, man. I think if they do it correctly, and the very fact that they're pushing it like a heel and a baby have a real conflict.
Yeah, definitely.
That sounds like
and they're brothers.
Yeah.
It's going to be crazy drama.
Yeah.
I can't wait.
It sounds really cool. I mean, I'm excited.
I think it'll be fun to see Bjorn as a babyface.
I think excitement will be the guest stars.
Oh, yeah. You could have any number of wrestlers on there.
Yeah, and I think it could start a lot, too.
And we know one wrestler that's probably definitely going to be on there, considering the friendship.
Well, yeah, that was the whole thing I thought when I seen Stephen Amell, and then you see CM Punk, and you're thinking Cody Rhodes. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's...
I did think it was funny. I read that Stephen Amell talked about not getting back into an actual wrestling ring until they're finished filming, because after his match with Christopher Daniels, he fractured his hip and had to tell Greg Berlanti, the Arrow guy, that he hurt himself while doing wrestling. So he's like, I'm just going to not do any of that until I finish filming.
He was actually really good.
He was.
To be that green.
Yeah.
I mean, I thought he did great.
I can't wait to see how much better he's gotten for this show. Yeah. Just training and everything.
I bet you a bunch of those guys are training in some of those new gyms too.
Oh, I'm sure.
So this one really excited me because we have it on all our televisions. We, have Fire TV upstairs, and we have something much like that downstairs. But Pluto TV has started a 24/7 pro wrestling channel called Pluto TV Pro Wrestling. That's pretty clever for the name. It's on channel 732 for Pluto TV. They made a deal with IWTV and will be airing independent matches from around the world.
Wow.
It started on 2/2, airing Beyond Wrestling's first season, Women Wrestling Revolution's entire library, and Defy Wrestling's Defy Now. It's available on Amazon Fire TV, Apple TV, Chromecast, PlayStation, TiVo, Xfinity, and Roku. So it's everywhere. And pretty cool stuff, man. I tell you, if you've got Amazon Fire, I'm sure the same thing with Roku. You can find all kinds of stuff. My God.
Yeah, it's like got everything on there.
If you look, you're going to find it, because I have watched the Best of Fabulous one several times just through that. So pretty cool stuff. Man, oh man, oh man, oh man. We got some really cool stuff coming up in today's show, though. I mean, if you thought the last few shows were great, then you're going to think this one is stupendous. If you didn't really like the last few shows, you're going to like this one. So there you go. This is
something for everyone.
I don't have any other way of phrasing it except I'm pretty excited about this because, I mean, there's only so many times you can review some great stuff, look forward to some even better stuff, like a little forbidden door. There's some little forbidden door somewhere, or some forbidden fruit or something.
Knock, knock.
Yeah, man. I tell you, I'm a big fan of forbidden doors.
Yes.
I like forbidden doors. So this forbidden door is open.
We've been waiting on it.
We've been beating on that bitch for a while now. And
trying to ram it down.
Yeah, and it's not. Hey, speaking of beating on bitches, well, that's not a good transition at all. Not a good transition at all. But if you guys want to see more of me doing some good promo work, well, the best promo work, and having a run with quite a few talented individuals in John Hawkins Promotions and having some fun in East Tennessee, Eastern Tennessee, then you need to look up innovatewrestling.com. I would give a little plug because I haven't plugged them at all this whole time. And I know that if I've got one of my friends listening and, like a promoter best friend of mine somewhere that's an arch enemy of John Hawkins, then he'd be like, come on, man.
He'd be a little upset.
Come on,
talked about
man. So yeah, it's a long history there, and you can find anything and everything out there. It's all streaming. We had the longest running weekly internet TV show before people did that. We had our local television show, and then like 2005 to God knows whenever recently.
Yeah.
It's always had the TV show. So good stuff. It's, it went through a few different incarnations of names, but Innovate Wrestling is it. And also my boys hold the tag title somewhere called Kapow. So Kapow Wrestling, you can find them on Facebook. Just look it up. Not that hard. Just like Batman punching somebody in the jaw. A little Kapow. And you'll find some faction there. And we'll talk about some factions later. But it's a good place to go find some talented, wonderful, bald, beautiful stuff of mine.
Oh, yeah.
And with a little bit more weight on me, actually, because I'm at my trim, lean, mean, just hovering over that 200-pound mark. So I've lost quite a bit of weight, but that kind of happens when some people gain weight during things like this, during the plague. I lose it because I feed on everybody's emotions. And when I don't have them in front of me, it hurts, man. It really hurts. So I was thinking about something funny. I had so much fun talking about the horror that was Jake the Snake Roberts and my interaction. I thought about it'd be kind of funny to tell a story about someone you probably never heard of.
There you go.
And a little story, little ditty. I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to do it.
I did it in my head.
Yeah, I know, right? So I want to tell you guys a story. This one is going back to my days in NWA Mountain State Wrestling. NWA Mountain State was one of my favorite places to ever work. And it's in West Virginia. We went to every god-awful town in West Virginia you can ever imagine. Towns you didn't know were towns until you had to wrestle there. So, such as classics like Beaver, West Virginia, where I had the in-ring classic promo of saying, "Believe it or not, this is not the first time that I've been paid to come into Beaver." That was a classic one. A guy tried stabbing me right after that. And then Chris Richards, my big, beautiful, muscle-bound freakhead, he saw it. He was hitting the ropes, and all of a sudden he does a baseball slide. He wasn't supposed to do a baseball slide. He was going to hit the ropes, come back off of a clothesline, and he hit the ropes. Brother had dropped down, and Chris went over, and he's like, "John!" He does this big baseball slide, comes out and takes this guy out right behind me.
Wow.
And I didn't see it. Didn't see it at all. Some old man with a knife right behind me.
Wow.
And you know what? The entire crowd was being quiet. The place was packed.
And nobody said anything.
The place was packed. And I had done the come in the Beaver line. and other than that, I just talked about how they were all related, ugly.
Right.
There wasn't 10 good teeth in the whole joint.
Of course.
All the normal stuff, all the normal fare. And of course, we were on their television every week because we were doing West Virginia regular then, and we loved that promotion. Absolutely loved that promotion, and that promotion loved us. They loved
to hate you, apparently.
Well, the booker up there was a good friend, and they loved us, and they would have me do as many promos as possible, and they did it really cool. They had the local TV station up there, did a lot of their TV, so they had multiple cameras, like big-time production. They would come do locker room promos or locker room interviews. They would show you getting ready, and then after the break, you'd be coming out to the ring, and it was really cool production.
Right.
And so I really loved it up there. A lot of fun, but here's one night that wasn't quite like that. Now, I forget exactly which town it is because they all run in together, to be honest with you. It's a bunch of towns where you don't get cell service, and you're lucky to make it out alive.
Right.
So that's about it. These towns were so backwards that my bodyguard, who I called Mr. Bolo, he was this Islander, 400-pound. I'm sorry, Bolo. 400-pound, wide as he is tall, just mean-looking sumbitch. Like, let me tell you, if you've ever seen a mean-looking Samoan, they would look like Rio compared to Bolo. Bolo in his prime, his head has these divots.
Yeah.
These long divots that are like highways, okay? So he's got this bald head with this crazy hairpiece in the back, not a hairpiece, but he grew his hair out really long, but it's only in the back like a Mongol, and that's a good term in wrestling, it's a Mongolian. But he wore the suit and everything, wore the glasses, just a great look. this look is money, okay? Just this look is actually money. And the Great Bolo, the Mr. Bolo name, I forget if that was the one that Bobby Eaton gave him, or if it was the fact that he already had that one and Bobby Eaton wanted to call him something else. I can't remember. It was one of those things, because I remember Bo was like, "Oh, you better call it. Whatever he says, you do. That's how it works in wrestling. Somebody says you're Peter Bon Pee-Pee, you do it."
Wow.
And anyway, we were up there, and this place was so backwards that we would go to a Subway one night after the show. Bolo stayed in character, man. He just absolutely stayed in character. And
Yeah.
we were like, he don't speak English. So the whole time we're ordering the sub for him, and we were just like, "Do you want onions?" And he would just look at me real weird, and I'd point to him, and then the girl would like point down to the onions, and she was terrified. She was terrified. I had 2 6'7" guys and Mr. Bolo all in there. We're all pretty much like dried blood on our heads and everything else,
I can understand.
Yeah, I know you can. But we went through the whole thing, man. This whole production was holding things up. Not that anybody's gonna say anything, but I mean, we were probably ordering for 20 minutes trying to get his sub made. We get it all. He's the last in line, right? And as a rib, we just walk on out. He gives over the money or whatever, and I guess she wasn't really thinking about the fact of how he knew how much money she had said. And everything was done. He goes, "Thanks. Have a good night." Just as, and we laughed about that so long, but that's just how backwards this place was. That probably made news. So this one night we're up there. We were shooting a few weeks of TV, and they had basically a John Hawkins cam that was following me around because, come on, I'm money.
You're the star.
So, as a manager, I was a worker first, so I think that everybody should be. And you get to see more, know more. You can help the boys if they forget something. You cover stuff when you need to cover it. You get the crowd up when you need to. You bring them down when you need to. All that good stuff. I take a lot of pride in that, and transitioned beautifully into doing the managing role. Absolutely adore it.
You're very good at it.
So, why, thank you. So I was up there, and there's this jackass. We have some cool people in the locker room, like the Batten twins were working up there regular then, Bobby Blaze, people like that from Smoky Mountain stuff. But we were up there, and we were in a match with this guy called the Juicer. So we're in the match with the Juicer, and the Juicer was just this annoying piece of shit. And I don't care if he's listening, honestly, at all. I just don't care. But he was just like, "All right, so," and he'd look at me and he goes, "All right, so what I'm going to need you to do, you do understand certain things." And he would say like, "I'm going to give you the Iggy." And I was like, "Okay, sure." Now, I'd been in the business for maybe 8 years, something like that. But, still yet. And he's like, "All right. And then at that point, you need to pull my leg, okay? You pull my leg, and then I'll trip right into this, and boom, 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 dig, 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 little this, little that, blah, 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 we're done." And I'm like, okay.
I think I got it.
So he went over it, I fucking kid you not, 9 times.
Oh, God.
9 times. And my friends knew me.
They were just fearing for this guy's life at this point.
They knew, but I just kept smiling. I was like, I got it. Yep, I got it. And he kept wanting me to do that part when he would get to it, like when we were calling it in the back. And I was like, all right. So, boom. And he's like, "Now, man, you be sure to grab it now. You be sure to grab it, because when I put it out there, I'm going to go down hard." And we had worked it down. Now, this is where I come into play. I thought it would be good to have him trip, and because he was such a big star, we want to get a win quickly, even though my guys outweigh him by 150 pounds each and about 1.5 feet each. Okay, so I'm like, yeah, no problem. So what's going to happen? When I pull that, wouldn't it be better if it was like a quick win? He's like, "You know what? Absolutely. Why don't you drop a leg on me, brother?" Talking to Steve, he's like, "Drop a leg on me." It might have been Chris, actually. And
one or the other.
And then we'll take it home on the back of his head, So yeah, whatever. So we get out there, and still yet I hadn't done anything, and it was really surprising to my guys, because I have a little bit of a history and a reputation for, well, probably not lasting that long with my temper, and only at times when somebody's just a pure idiot. Okay.
Right.
I just have this really lack of patience for idiots. Other than that, I'm a happy-go-lucky, joke-telling, smiling dude. But idiots are idiots.
Idiots and disrespect.
And this guy he's just stupid. He's not meaning anything by it. It's just not all firing upstairs for him. You know what I mean?
Right.
So, gets to the part of the match, and there's a lot. I mean, man, we had so much heat. So much heat. And we get out there, and he hits the ropes, and I didn't pull the leg. I didn't even pretend to pull the leg. Come close to pulling the leg. I turned around, put my back to the ring when it got right to it, and just smiled at the crowd. And boom, it looked like he tripped on his own feet. I have to give brother this. I mean, he fell like somebody dropped a sack of taters from the freaking rafters. I mean, he hit hard. And boom, the little leg drop, little stinky leg drop. 1, 2, 3. It was over. I mean, he looked like, seriously, on TV too, he looked like ass. I mean, it's just like, well, Jesus, then, whoa.
Oh, no.
Whoa. And we get to the back, man. It's so pretty. I'm just thanking everybody for the match, as we do. And he comes up, he's like, he's coming back, he's taking off his tape and everything. He's like, because he sold it for a minute too. He sold it for a minute. He laid in the ring from that devastating trip. And he comes back, he's like, hey, brother, you grabbed that leg, right? I was like, yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah, it looked great.
Of course I did.
And he's like, man, I didn't feel anything. I was like, oh, brother, come on. I knew you were going to go down. It was there, bro. It was there. Okay. All right, man, I didn't feel nothing. Oh, dude, I grabbed it. Yeah, it was plain as day. Everybody seen it. They were all yelling at me and everything. Okay, all right. Well, needless to say, I don't think me and Juice talked that much after that.
No.
But that was just one of those good little stories. Hopefully the Juicer's family isn't listening or something like that. Of course, on our first episode, I talked about a dude I almost killed, and he's dead now, so it can only go up.
Yeah, your stories can only get more positive from there.
It can only go up. But I thought that would be fun. I thought that'd be a fun little story. Is that a fun little story?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And people can see that and so much more.
Yeah.
In Innovate Wrestling.
Yeah, they can see that and so much more. This time, tell you about the OnlyFans. No, just playing. It hadn't got that bad of a plague yet. But speaking of bad plagues, if you want to go and find out all you can about us, because you do, you can go to our Facebook. That'd be facebook.com/BT Wrestling Pod. Pretty simple. BT Wrestling Pod. You can do that on the Tweeter. On the tweet machine, it's at BT Wrestling Pod. And go give us a follow on there and give us some love. Soon. We could already have this, but we're waiting on it because we're doing something special with the website. So there will be a website to go to and get all that good stuff. But all the merch is out there too. And right now you just got to find it how you find it, because you'll see it on the Twitter and on the Facebook and the Instagram and all that stuff. It's all BT Wrestling Pod, by the way. But listen, this is a big thing. We need your subscriptions, all right? So we need you to subscribe. If you listen to the show and you like it, please share it with a friend. If you don't like it, share it with an enemy. Just share it. Tell them to listen to it. It's a big deal, all right? So if you do like it, don't keep the secret, all right? Please don't keep the secret. Put it out there, and like YouTube, same thing. However you can share it. However you're listening to it, please give us a glowing review. As many stars as you have. Put a little review on there like dig it. Whatever you want to put, just put dig it. Put total neck it. However you want to put it on there, it's all good with us, but we appreciate it so much. And on the Patreon, it's patreon.com also /BT Wrestling Pod. And that really helps us help you. Helps us keep bringing you the content and exclusive content, the more exclusive content that we can, and plus you get exclusive t-shirts on there as well. And we have our funky McDunky, really cool initial BT Wrestling Pod shirt, which is freaking amazing, double-sided, by the way, with a blind tag on the back, because it's Blind Tag Wrestling. So there is the handprint on the back with the Blind Tag Wrestling. That's just the amazing Raja over here designing that one. She's also designed the official. This is my favorite shirt maybe ever. I love the purple monkey shirt. That one's cool. Our wrestling monkey, our mascot, he's on there. And that's the Join the Mark Order shirt. Okay, so if you want to be a part of the Mark Order, that's the way to do it. And it's really a cool shirt, also designed by Raja. But this one has to be my favorite. Raja's little faux pas that we talked about on the first episode, I do believe.
Yes.
What's worse than X-Pac heat, Raja?
Tupac heat.
Tupac heat. Tupac heat is the worst. That one little slip by Raja has been immortalized, like Hulk Hogan and his porn tape and nasty mouth. So you can now wear our Tupac heat shirt because it's out.
And why wouldn't you want to?
Oh, it's fantastic too. You just got to see it. It's got the definition of X-Pac heat, and it's scratched out. Got a little DX coloring on there with the Tupac heat definition. So it's good stuff. It's a little bit worse than X-Pac heat.
And let us know which wrestlers you have Tupac heat for.
Yeah, absolutely. We would love to know your Tupac heaters. That's how you do it. Give us some love. We're growing. We're not going to go nowhere, so don't think that we're just like a wham bam, thank you ma'am. No reason to, get in with us or anything like that. Man, those guys are going to be gone. Listen, no. We're going to be here. We're going to be here for you. We're going to grow this thing. Get on the train while it's going up the hill. You know what I'm saying? Become the friend now. Because as soon as we hit it, man, we're not going to talk to you no more.
Once we're big, we're going to forget about all of you.
Only you original ones. So be an original. We'll make a special shirt at some point with everybody's original name, like the first 50 patrons or something, and dig big middle fingers to the rest of them, Of course, we'll make a second 50 for the other 50 and then a third 50. No, just playing. Good stuff. We appreciate everything, really. We joke around a little bit. Well, a lot. But we do appreciate it. And speaking of appreciative, I'm going to be real appreciative to turn it over to Raja right now for a little bit of review action.
Alrighty. Well, we get started this week with our first show on January 30th. We had The New Beginning in Nagoya for New Japan Pro Wrestling.
Great show.
And this was a 5-match card. It was a bit of a weaker card for a big show, but
that's what we thought.
They still delivered.
Yeah.
They delivered in spades.
I mean, that's what we thought. We thought it was going to be that. But my God.
Yeah.
There was a surprise on here. I'll let you start going here.
Leave it to New Japan to just blow you away.
I'll tell you.
We started out with Toru Yano and Kazuchika Okada defeating Yujiro Takahashi and Evil.
Yeah, and Uncle Dave gave this one a mighty 1.25 star, and that was being nice.
Yeah, a little bit kind. So we move on to Master Wato, Sho, Hanma, and Ibushi defeating Bushi, Hiromu, Naito, and Sonata. And that got 2 3/4 stars.
Yeah, I mean, I think you get a star just for Hiromu signing on to the match.
Just when he's in it, him and Ibushi.
Yeah, I mean, that's just aesthetics. You get a star.
It's a building match, so.
Yeah, it was what it was.
It's necessary. Then we move on to the Great Okan defeating Tenzan in a loser must stop using the Mongolian chop match.
Now, this one I enjoyed a hell of a lot more than most people.
Mm-hmm.
It got a 1.25. I applaud Tenzan every time he puts his boots on.
It was so good, though.
And, man, that man just does some stuff that he shouldn't be doing.
Yeah.
But he does it well.
Get in the ring.
He does it well, though.
He does. He surprises us every time.
Every time it's like big match Tenzan. Like, every time he has a big match, it's just like, you're like, but if you give it a chance.
Mm-hmm.
If you give it a chance, it's great. But
unfortunately, he can no longer use the Mongolian chop.
Yeah.
Because he lost.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of like taking the leg drop away from Hogan.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's just kind of weird. But we'll see what happens there. The Great Okan needed to win.
He did. So we move on to Will Ospreay defeating Satoshi Kojima in a no DQ match.
Wow. This match, well, it had the kitchen sink. It's not what you expect in New Japan.
No.
But my God, Will Ospreay, I mean, he took some nasty bumps in this match.
Brutal.
If you haven't seen it, okay, you got to go out of your way to see it, just from the nasty bumps. And the thing was, Kojima looked like Kojima of old. I mean, this was freaking great. It was like, if you want to see the dream match of modern day Will Ospreay versus Kojima in his prime, well, it was.
They beat the crap out of each other.
It was great. I mean, this must be how Kojima needs to be booked. It was really great. I mean, honestly, he never gets a chance to show that he's still got anything. He doesn't, it's very rare. And this got 4.25 stars.
It earned every bit of that.
Every bit of it.
And in our main event, Tanahashi defeated Shingo Takagi for the Never Openweight Championship.
This is my man, all right?
Oh, man.
So Shingo is my man. And as ELP put over on commentary with Kevin Kelly on the English commentary, to start off with, this is like the ace of New Japan versus the ace of Dragon Gate. I mean, it was a really big deal, right? And if you look at it from the right perspective, ELP was funny, man. He reminded me of Don Callis, honestly. He had a lot of things that's just like, oh my God, I can't believe he said that. Really good on commentary, though.
He was. That was really surprising, but we needed it.
Yeah, it's the thing we always talk about with Kevin. Kevin is like such a great play-by-play. Mm-hmm. He is such a great baby face, all right?
Yes.
I love having that counter to him. Mm-hmm. And this worked really good.
They work well together.
And sometimes that helps make the match, but let me tell you, freaking, man, the Ace and Shingo, this match, 5 stars, okay? Every bit of 5 stars, this match. It had everything you want. It has the drama, and it even has some way Hiroshi Tanahashi didn't break his neck. I don't know how in God's name he didn't break his neck, okay?
We watched that so many times.
I kept going back. I couldn't help it.
It's so painful looking.
I just couldn't believe his neck's not broke. Okay, you'll see the spot. If you haven't watched this, obviously it's 5 stars. You owe it to yourself to watch every 5-star match that ever comes across. Okay.
Yes.
This is one of those. Unless it's a Johnny Gargano match, then
they're fudging it.
Yeah, it's whatever.
Just watch out for the setup for Made in Japan.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah, Jesus Christ. I thought we were going to see him like come back. Okay, it's time to go. Not yet. But yeah, it was pretty sick, man. And that takes us to the Rizumble.
Yes.
Royal Rumble, baby. January 31st, 2021 was the time. Of course, it had some interesting stuff. On the undercard, we had Shayna Baszler and Nia Jax winning the women's tag titles over Charlotte Flair and Asuka. And they actually gave that 3 stars. Yeah. So Drew McIntyre pinned Bill Goldberg to keep the WWE title, and that gave 2 stars on that. Honestly, it was booked really strange, okay?
It was.
And yeah, it did what you had to do, right? Mm-hmm. And there was no big screw-ups or anything like that. Goldberg did business the right way, passed the torch and everything. But here's my problem, right? Drew McIntyre is big babyface. All right, he's the big babyface champion.
Right.
And Goldberg is babyface.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so
is he?
Yeah. So right off the bat, it doesn't make much sense.
Right.
Okay. Especially the way that they're coming out. Even Goldberg, when he came out and was just like, "You've been disrespectful." What? When? What? I mean, this guy's like the most respectful son of a bitch there is.
Yeah.
And we've not seen that. Did you get the wrong guy?
Are you sure you're in the right place?
Did you take your medicine? Did you get the wrong? Did you mean Randy Orton?
Oh, God. Because
it just didn't make sense. But nonetheless, you still got babyface, but you have Goldberg come out and freaking McIntyre spears him before the bell.
Yeah, they did some brawling before the match even started.
So it's the big heel thing, right? He spears him before the bell, starts beating the crap out of him, and then what happens? Goldberg beats the shit out of him, throws him over through the thing, and so it looks like Drew's the heel, the cowardly heel that attacks before the bell.
Right.
And then Goldberg did the big hot comeback.
Right.
And, like a babyface would.
Is this foreshadowing?
And no, it's not.
I know.
It's not.
It's not.
It's not foreshadowing anything.
What company are we talking about?
We get in the ring, boom, boom, boom. We get the thing done. It's over with. Yeah, kid, you passed the test or whatever. The driving. I don't know.
Congrats.
Anyway, it got 2 stars. Other than that, not making sense. It's it's fine. I guess it's fine. That's my rating.
It did what it needed to do.
It's fine. Sasha Banks retained the SmackDown Women's title over Carmella, 2 3/4 stars. I forgot that was even a match. Bianca Belair won the Women's Royal Rumble, and they gave it 3 3/4 stars. Listen, oh man. So I went into this really with some favorites, but I did say, and Raja said, obviously Bianca is positioned to win this because they had the 30-minute special.
They're pushing her
on the network. Okay, I hate for it to be that apparent.
Yeah.
But they had the 30-minute special, and then they talked about what a story it was and all this stuff. It just seemed, now let's face facts. That doesn't always mean WWE's going to do it. All right.
Yeah.
but it did seem like that was positioned. I'm fine with it. I'm fine with it. Because you could still have the Charlotte match. She don't need it, obviously. So you could still have her and Rhea Ripley.
Yeah.
That could still happen. They were the last 3. I see you have the listing here of how they came in and all this stuff. But honestly, that was your last 3. As far as the memories of the match, I always judge my Rumbles on, what memories were made. What big spots do we have that I remember?
Right.
And,
how memorable was it?
Exactly. So with that women's match, I remember them helping each other back in the ring and let's take it easy with Rhea Ripley and Bianca Belair. Mm-hmm. There's not a lot more.
I remember R-Truth running in and Alicia Fox winning the 24/7 title for like 2 seconds.
Right, exactly. And other than that, Pat Patterson's not there this year. Obviously, rest in peace, Pat Patterson. Royal Rumble's his baby. Now, how much he had to do with the finishes and everybody, how they're coming in, how they're getting tossed in every Rumble, I don't know. I really can't answer that. I wasn't backstage, okay? But from what you read and hear, he had a hell of a lot to do over the years with a lot of the Rumbles. Other than that, it just didn't seem like anybody ever got that really looking real strong.
Yeah.
And a lot of times you'll have somebody like, the Lesnar thing. Like, they'll come out and they'll look strong as hell, or you can give somebody a push or set up stuff just from the way they did in the Rumble.
Right, and there was none of that.
Yeah, not really. No, you had some weird stuff. It was just, there was a lot of weird stuff.
Yeah, there's a few reunions in the ring and whatnot.
But nothing that really...
a couple of people came back that you weren't expecting.
Yeah, and it was a perfect opportunity to have the Iconics get back together full on. That's something that should have happened, but not really. Yeah, so that was that match. And again, if you want to add anything to that, feel free.
One thing I did notice, because I was timing the entries this year, just to see, because in the last few episodes where we've talked about old Royal Rumbles, they've talked about how the timing is off. So I was like, I'm just going to see if the timing is 1.5 minutes like they say it is. And it wasn't all the time. They did pretty good at it. But as it got closer to the end when the bigger stars were coming out, it became more and more apparent that they were waiting for certain spots to start the 10-second timer, because they would get longer and longer further apart. So their timing is not perfect, and they usually wait for a spot to end before they...
And what was the big one, the one that took forever?
The big one was between Nia Jax and Natalya coming out, was 3.5 minutes.
Oh, wow.
Instead of 1.5 minutes. And I'm sure you maybe wouldn't realize that if you weren't timing it. But...
Wow.
I realized it because I was timing it.
Yeah. Oh, it's crazy, man. I know that this next one we talked about a little bit. What I'm going to say is this, all right? Roman Reigns and Kevin Owens, last man standing match. The video package for this was astounding.
Yes.
The video...
I was so excited.
The video package got me up for this match. I was there, okay? It got me invested. It was a hell of a story. The Paul Heyman thing, where Paul Heyman you can't outsmart Paul Heyman, where he did the trip on the steps and it's like,
card subject to change.
Yeah, said the same thing. But I mean, that all was great stuff. And I was ready for it. And you know what? The match started out okay. It was doing stuff. I mean, yeah, they were doing some of the spots we've seen a little bit this year. One of the funny things Raja pointed out was when we got to the forklift spot. She's like, there's literally like a launch pad on a pallet.
It was like bolted down to the...
Yeah, like it's not like you're just randomly pulling up the forklift and jumping off of it, or shakiness or whatever. It was very, very contrived, right?
Sadly, that wasn't the worst part.
No. Well, Kevin survived some amazing things. All right, he survived falls, gunshots, a couple of ball bats, whatever. We get to the point that we're out back in front of the computer people on the main floor, and there's in Last Man Standing, you got to answer the 10 count.
Yes.
So Roman Reigns, being super heel, had his handcuffs, and he was going to handcuff Kevin Owens down underneath the lighting grid, so he would be stuck and couldn't, theoretically get on his feet to answer the 10 count. But Kevin reversed it. Kevin handcuffed Roman, and we got to 9, and Roman pulls the ref, boom, behind him, he hits his head, he's out. And then of course, because refs are obviously like NPC characters, and if you wait around long enough, one's just going to walk by and you can activate them.
They'll just generate.
Yeah, they'll generate. The other ref shows up, But while the ref is knocked out, Paul Heyman, showed up and got a key, had the key, and was trying to unlock Roman. And
that didn't go exactly to plan.
So about a minute and a half is what it took. But when the new ref comes out, he actually got to 7 on the count, and he just stopped. Mm-hmm. And like I said, he just kind of melted away.
Even though Roman was still on his ass at the time.
Oh, yeah, he was still on his ass. It would have been a 10 count. You should have a new champion. Regardless of what the plan was.
Yeah.
You almost have to do it and win it back the next night. Something,
Because overall, I agree with Roman keeping the belt. He's on a hot streak.
Yeah.
His character's great. But in that moment, they should have just counted to 10 and been like, shit, we'll fix it later.
Yeah, something, right?
Yeah. Instead of waiting to get him unlocked and then doing a really quick finish that made no sense after Kevin had all that time to recuperate.
Or even have the original ref get back up and go, no, I don't care. I didn't see it. Whatever.
I didn't see it. I'm the official.
Yeah, whatever. I mean, I think I could have thought on my feet a little bit better than that. But listen, if it wasn't a fucking world title match.
Yeah.
And, I don't know, everybody watching it,
mm-hmm.
It just cheapens everything.
It really
does. It
does.
just takes the steam out. You can have written that and be all pissy and be like, well, Becky, go to hell. All right, just go to hell. You don't have a winning argument on this. It's just, it sucks.
We were excited about it until that moment, and then, all the fun just got sucked out of the room.
Yeah.
We're like, wow, there it is.
Yeah, whoop, there it is, folks.
The most memorable part of that match to me was Kevin Owens walking by that light and burning his arm on it. And so, the rest of the match, I was like, don't fucking touch that light. You're going to burn yourself.
Yeah. Well, that makes perfect sense. Such as the next match, which the Men's Rumble, folks. The Men's Rumble could be characterized by the pain that Raja has in life.
And I should just disqualify myself from talking about this match.
Yeah, and you know what? It got 4.25 stars.
Listen, as soon as he got hurt, I knew. I was like, no, they're gonna do it again. I'm in anguish.
I mean, people got what they wanted.
I know.
It got 4.25 stars. Listen, like I said, this Rumble's probably got great positive reviews.
Yes.
And I get that. This is just us not going with the grain on this because, there's certain little tropes in wrestling that we see happen, and Raja hates them and she's got me hating them. But the person getting hurt or hiding at the first of a match, people forgetting about him and them coming back, as soon as Randy got quote unquote hurt,
yes,
we knew,
mm-hmm.
Oh God, Randy's going to come back. So Edge, that's fine, whatever. Just, whatever. Maybe it would have been cool for The Fiend to show up there at the end. I don't know. I'm not even talking about any of that. It was fine. The Rumble was fine.
There were some cool little spots like Riddle and Daniel Bryan and that kind of thing. Some little things in there that were enjoyable.
But there was things that just didn't make sense.
Yeah.
A lot of things that didn't make sense. And then you had the finish, which Randy Orton, obviously came back out there and Edge reversed it though, and Edge won. So
all the way from number 1.
Yeah, more power, young man. It's nuts. And do you have any other thoughts on the Rumble? I thought we were going to talk about it a lot more. Trust me.
Yeah. No, I don't.
Okay. Well,
I'm just disappointed.
For those who loved it, I don't want to hark on it too much. So it is what it is. And just because it's our favorite show, and I say that with love, it's our favorite scouting show. Okay.
Yes.
We love AEW Dark. Just to go down through the results,
because we love enhancement talent.
Just so you know how bad you need to watch it is why I like to do this. But Dustin Rhodes, QT Marshall, and Nick Camarado, who is going to be all over your screen soon, and I want to manage him so bad. He's a big caveman. Defeated Mbadu, who I also want to manage. Love Mbadu. Terrence Hughes, Terrell Hughes, Devon's kids. Just to see Mbadu and Nick Camarado and didn't know what they're going, when you could see the trajectory they're going to take in their careers,
yeah,
it's really cool. Ray Phoenix defeated KC Navarro. Ray Phoenix looking like $1 million. Not quite the $1 million we're about to see him look. Ty Conte always looks like $1 million. Defeated Tesha Price. Thunder Rosa, again, the always looks like $1 million. Of course, they're building up for the stuff that, you're going to see these people the next night. Defeated Danny Jordan in her burn book. Santana Ortiz defeated Fuego del Sol and Barry Morales. And Santana Ortiz looked really good in this match. They looked really pissed off. And that's my favorite, Santana Ortiz.
Yes.
Man, it looked really good in this. Layla Hirsch defeated Catalina Perez. The Acclaimed, funny as hell, defeated Danny Limelight and Ryzen. They also had an Acclaimed music video, which was fire.
Jeez. Oh my gosh.
It was straight
That
fire.
music video was great.
My God, the Jericho line was hilarious. But Bear Country, Sonny Kiss, and Joey Janela defeated Sean Dean, Aaron Solo, Baron Black, and Mike Verna. Good stuff. Bear Country seems like they're really becoming part of the main roster now.
Yeah.
Evilise and Diamante defeated Jasmine Allure and Brittany Vixen. The Gun Club, safe and out of the front row, defeated John Schuyler and Ray Jazz. Red Velvet, looking so fine, defeated Alex Gracia. Dark Order 10 defeated Jake St. Patrick. And SCU, defeated Chaos Project of Luther and Serpentico. And that was your AEW Dark on February 2nd, 2021. Be sure to never miss it. Give it some love. You got to watch the show. It's great. And now, dropping it to second and switching gears, baby. We're going to pass some people because we're going to AEW Dynamite. The Dynamite. And with Beach Break. It was a beach break.
It was.
I wanted to call it Beach Blast. I wanted to call it Beach Blanket Benigo. That's supposed to be bingo, but Benigo is that's
it's a totally different game.
It's the Spanish version. It was a really good movie in the '60s, and they released it in just a smattering of theaters south of the border. Beach Blanket Benigo. It had Elefranco Avellano.
Yes.
And Annetto Funicino. Hey, you know what? Annette Funicino. Is that how her name was? I bet she was already an O, wasn't she? That's how you know. O.
That's how you know.
Yeah. It's just,
oh, goodness.
It's one of my favorite bits from Sammy and Chris.
But yes, we went to the beach in very cold weather.
Yes. Yeah. Oh, my God. It was 40 degrees, man. I mean.
Do not envy them at all.
No, not a bit. Penelope's nipples were not hard because of excitement.
It was the cold.
It was the cold in that scamp of a dress she was wearing.
She looked beautiful.
She did look beautiful. She really did. They had done the ceremony earlier.
Yeah, I know.
Which you could kind of tell if you followed on Twitter.
Yeah.
Because the day before, they were like, greatest day ever. And that's usually not what you say during a rehearsal.
It's cute that they got their ceremony done on Dynamite, though.
Yeah,
in front of all their friends.
Bro, that's a normal thing. A lot of people do that. I went to Justice of the Peace a few times, and I mean,
yeah, you have.
Yeah, so I mean, that's just how it works. And then you have a ceremony in front of actual people you care about, or not. It can go either way. Anyway, February 3rd was the date, and we didn't want to be late, and I'm sorry about that rhyme, but we started it off with MJF and Chris Jericho winning the Tag Team Battle Royale, and they get to face the Young Buckies for the AEW Tag Team titles at Revolution. Now,
yes,
a few people in this room with me right now in this little podcasting studio gimmick lost their goddamn minds during this because they wanted other people to win, but
he's talking about me.
I'm talking about somebody that's in the podcast studio, but I understand how that works, and everybody had their favorites. I had my favorites, but I also had the team that I pointed out the second that they were going to team.
Yes, they had to win. It had to happen.
It's a story. It's the way you write a story. You don't write a story where so-and-so and so-and-so team up and they're two main eventers that don't usually team. Go back in history. Like, look at every time that two main eventers have teamed. Vince loves doing it.
Yeah. Putting random people together.
Oh, my God. Triple H and Stone Cold are going to have to team or, whatever. You know what's going to happen.
Yeah,
they're going to throw some nice shiny belts on them, and, it's going to make it that much more.
Wait. You think they're going to win the titles?
Yeah.
Oh, no.
Yeah, I think they're going to win the titles. I think they're going to slip ass their way into it.
Oh, okay.
But it's a good way for the Young Bucks to not have to lose.
Yeah.
Against another team and maybe have to go out. The money's always in the baby faces chasing the gold.
Yeah.
The money is not in having babyface champions, hence Kenny turning heel.
Right.
It's just not the money.
Because you want to see other people go after them.
Right. I mean, you don't pay to see. It's like, well, Superman 1 destroyed everybody here, and Superman 2 is going to be Superman getting blowjobs. Now, I would pay to see it, but I don't know if we're going to have a franchise, folks, okay?
Yeah.
So you got to have another baddie that comes up. So if you go see like Avengers or whatever, right? And 3/4 of the way through the movie, they introduce you to, El Saddle Monster or something. I don't know. And he's like some giant horse from Neptune. Because the event, I'm not a big fan of Marvel movies. I'm a DC guy.
Yeah.
I like my grittiness, like with dark filters on the screen, and we have the same mother's name.
Hopelessness.
That kind of stuff. I like that. I like hopelessness in my life. But I've seen the Marvel movies, and I'm just saying, the trope, if you will, the trope is the fact that you have to build your villains.
Yes.
And the money's in the chase. The money's never in the good guys. As much as we want it, we always want it. We talked about it so many times. Every show that we've ever watched, we're like, oh God, everything's good finally. And I don't care if it's the manliest man show ever, or if I'm sipping tea with my pinky finger out watching Downton Abbey.
We're like, finally, some peace.
Yeah, it happens, folks, all right? And if you act like you've got a female in your house and you've never watched something like that, then you're lying to yourself and me, and I'm ashamed to know you. All right, so we all have those shows we have to watch. We can either enjoy them or we could sit and make snide comments and never get laid again. So I choose the first of sitting there and going, "Oh, Mario, that's right on, folks. Chap, ring the bell, if you will, ring the bell."
But also, Downton Abbey is a legitimately great show.
Yeah, that really is. It really is. But we're getting off the point here.
Listen,
on Downton Abbey, they get happy. And it's like, oh, Lady Mary just got married. Oh, what's this? He just had a bleeding car accident and died.
What are they going to do now?
It was literally the next scene.
Jesus.
It was like the next scene. It's like, oh, did you remember the rubbers? Oh, I did not, Lady Mary. Let me go get some condoms. And he goes down, and back then it's like, was it back in my day we used rabbit fur, whatever he got to rap at, rascal. And he wrecked on the way back because it was Dan Stevens and he had a better career to have.
I mean, didn't he wreck on the way to her having the baby?
Something. I don't know.
Something.
Everything just kind of.
Something terrible.
Back then, you didn't just wreck. You wrecked and died.
Yeah. It was
Cars
very
were cars and people were fragile.
So I'm not that upset about how this went down because it was done so well.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I love all the turmoil in the inner circle, and I guess them winning just makes it worse. So, good on them.
Yeah, I mean, really, if you break down the Battle Royal, it was everything an AEW opener has come. Now, listen, they have set that bar pretty high.
Yes.
It was, we noticed it early on, and like I said, when people were still going to shows, we went to a lot of Dynamites, probably half of the damn Dynamites that existed with people, and it was a lot of fun. You can actually see me in a lot of footage of certain little things. I'm not going to tell you what they are, but
Just keep your eyes peeled.
I'm right up front, or third row, whatever. But you see me because I'm way taller than everybody else, and it's so much fun. There's a little game because there's still segments that get shown because they like to show it with fans.
Yes.
So you get to live forever as long as they keep the fans out. Mm-hmm. Not that I'm a fan of that, but I've also been down to I've been to Jacksonville to be one of the non-fans.
Yeah.
Well, the fans that show up in the non-arena. Whatever.
The small amount of fans.
It's fun. I'm going back too soon. So anyway, I agree. It was really cool how they did. The bar has been set high, but man, they really hit it. And some of the teams in there, they got some huge, strong spots.
Yeah.
The only thing that was a disappointment for me was after the Acclaimed had like the best rap ever on Dark, which we talked about. They talked about Jericho's moonsault, and they talked about so much stuff. If you haven't seen it, go back.
Just go watch it.
Go back and just fast forward till you see the rap in the gym, and my God, it's hilarious.
You'll know when you hit it.
We really think that Max Caster, and we've said it before, and we'll keep saying this until somebody listens.
Until it happens.
That he's like a young Dwayne Johnson. And I'm putting that in there because of the charisma. And it's not like you see Max Caster and he's one of those you remember because, now his work's not bad at all.
No.
Don't get me wrong on this, okay? But it's not one of those that you're like, because if I watch Top Flight, then there may be something that happens that I'm like, oh, how did he do that?
Yeah.
I didn't know that physics allowed that. And that's really what I write home about on them, okay?
Yes, their work is amazing.
If I watch Phoenix, I see Phoenix do these pirouettes in midair that are just like, well, that shouldn't be able to happen, you know? There's freaking figure skaters that watch his start cutting themselves afterwards. They're like, I'm nowhere near the person I thought I was, you know? And with them, I tell you right now, man, Max Caster's a WWE guy. Like, I hate to say it.
Is that a compliment?
Well, yeah. As far as character work goes, it's absolutely a compliment because I'm saying that you're at the upper echelon of an entertainer.
Yes.
Okay? And for all you want to say, I love WWE. I really do when they're on their game.
Yeah.
When shit makes sense and I don't have to suspend my reality so much that I have to have a fucking defibrillator afterwards. Okay? When I don't have to have that happen.
Right.
And I don't go off the rails from my grizzled old veteranness about a referee, you know, turning the water when it gets to the count of 7.
Right.
Then, you know, because that ruins everything for me. That's just who I am. Mm-hmm. I'm grizzled. Okay? I can't help it. But this is one of those people, Max Caster pronouns, that is amazing in every little element that he does, even at this young age. And you can just see that personality coming off the page.
Yeah.
More so than just about anyone. And I'm being honest here, because he's got the size. Like if you got Vince McMahon up there beside Darby, and you just snuck him in,
skulking.
Yeah, you put like a wig on him and everything, and it's like, be quiet, Vince. Oh, God damn it, pal. Why am I even here? There's a bingo hall. We're outside. It's outside bingo hall. It's all right. It's all right. They're
fucking cold.
They're beating you on Wednesday nights. God damn it! I told you, Stephanie. You see, to get somebody could win in ratings. You know. So you know you're sitting there with him. When you get past all that, you feed him some popcorn or whatever, and he's sitting there watching, and he would see like Darby, be like, God damn, that guy's little. I mean, that's not just from sitting up here. He looks like an ant. You know, and all this that you can imagine what would be said. You know, that guy could be 205 Live champ. That guy was your 205 Live champ, and that's why he left. Oh, is that Neville? Yeah, that's Pac. What the fuck's a Pac? You know, you can hear the conversation in your head if you try really hard.
Yeah.
But Max Caster would come out, and he'd be like, oh, goddamn, that kid's got size. He does.
And he can rap.
Oh, and he's got entertainment. You think you wrote that? Yeah, they don't have writers back there like that. What? Once you got past that.
That rant.
Yeah. Once you got past that, he would see those things. Like, he's got the size, albeit puppy with big paws kind of thing right now.
Right, yeah.
You know, but he's got the charisma and he's got the intangibles, right? Those it factor.
Right.
You can just see it. It comes off the page. I think a lot of the guys had the it factor, but speaking on the New York it factor,
right?
You have to have those other things. You have to have the shell.
Yeah,
and
exactly.
He's got the shell. And, you know, I love the team. The team's great, but I do fear there's a Genetti in the team.
A little bit.
So I think that's going to eventually
He gets overshadowed
by
Max.
Yeah.
Unfortunately.
Well, I think most people would right now.
Yeah.
And listen, I don't usually throw that much love on somebody.
I mean, charisma-wise, how does he stack up against Ricky Starks?
Oh, they're neck and neck, okay? But Ricky Starks, he doesn't have the size. He when you actually put him in around real sized people, like okay, so Team Taz is the Micro Machines of factions, and they've done it brilliantly. Okay, so you were talking about Layla Hirsch joining, it'd be perfect.
Yeah, exactly.
Because Layla Hirsch is 3 feet tall.
Yeah.
Okay, and
she's perfect.
Taz is the king. He's the baddest under 6 foot person that's ever walked the earth. You know,
right?
And I get it, right? But Brian Cage is also kind of
on the shorter side,
right, dude? He's one of those. It's like because he's so wide.
Yeah, your mind tricks you into thinking he's big.
You're thinking he's the Wolverine, but he's more like a really pissed off badger. You know,
honey badgers are scary.
They are. They are. I'm giving him credit. He scares me, but he scares me in an annoying honey badger kind of way that I'd have to hit with a shovel. You're not really like a Wolverine per se.
Right.
You know, so
in comparison, Ricky looks bigger than he is.
Or
taller.
Ricky stands the same height as like Brian Cage, or a little bit shorter than Brian Cage.
Yeah.
You know, we're still at under 6 feet.
So he's not Vince McMahon approved size.
No, I mean, can you shine through that, Adam Cole? Probably. But they've never.
Perhaps.
But Triple H has never let go of Adam, has he?
No. Nope.
Adam Cole, I think, broke that mold where some people can just stay in NXT forever.
Yeah, he probably will.
And it's because of size, baby.
Yeah.
You know, so
Yeah.
it's one of those things. I don't know. I really don't know, but I don't think that Ricky would go as far
Right.
in New York.
They wouldn't push him as hard.
And you know, I love Ricky Starks.
Yes, he's
I can't believe you forced me to say that.
I'm sorry. I was just curious.
I would have never brought that up.
But you said their charisma level is the same.
Yeah.
Character-wise. It's
Yeah.
just the size difference.
Listen, in my federation, Ricky's going to be champ first because he's ready.
Yeah.
His work is ready.
He beat the crap out of some people.
Ricky is one of those people that goes in there and beats the absolute snot out of people. And I love it. Listen, I believe it. When he's in there and with enhancement or whatever, it's just like this part in the match where all of a sudden he turns into Chris Benoit. And I'm not talking about Chris Benoit on a good day. I mean, Chris Benoit on a bad day. Not the worst day, but on a bad day. And he just really goes in there and just lays it in, man. And it looks great. Fantastic. I love watching his matches. You know, it's good stuff. But, you know, back in this Battle Royal, we had them come out and their rap, the Acclaimed, the rap that they did was kind of like, I don't know, it lost me this time. It reminded me of the first one.
Well, they also cut off Chris Jericho's entrance music.
Yeah, I think that was more what had to happen because they have a match coming up. So
he's like, nope, my turn.
Yeah, so the Acclaimed is going to face them. So,
yeah,
you know, I think that might have been what was happening there.
One of the most interesting things to happen in the Battle Royal was the Good Brothers coming out, causing the Young Bucks to lose.
Yeah, and that furthers that story, and it's one of those good old Young Bucks stories. Like, you remember back when Cody was going to leave, not leave, the Bullet Club is fine?
Bullet Club was fine.
Yeah, it reminds me of that because you always expected them to be broke up.
Yeah.
But they weren't, and it's like they're kind of like friends. You know, we can argue. We can disagree. I kind of like that.
Yeah.
Because your actual friends, you don't just completely drive a stake in them and leave them right off the bat. You let that stuff fester and maybe you talk behind their backs and, you know, all the good human stuff.
Right.
And then eventually you betray them, you know,
of course.
in a very dark and dirty way. So it's
let all those resentments out all at once.
Art imitating life in droves, I feel, because in wrestling normally it's like, oh, you dirty bastard, you know, I'm gonna destroy your life now because you farted in my general direction, you know.
I saw that he moved and that's why you hit me, but I'm still mad at you for hitting me.
Yeah, I am not gonna understand this at all. No way. And I love that too on there. A lot of times they'll say stuff on Dynamite where they're like, it aired on TV, dude.
Yeah, I saw it on Dynamite.
Yeah, I watched that back, bro. I saw that. We don't have anything else to do during the week.
I love that so much.
Yeah,
I'm so happy they do that.
Yeah, it's really great. It's refreshing. But all that aside, it was a great Battle Royal, and it really progressed the story where it needed to go. Progressed several stories, actually.
Yeah, there was a lot of things happening.
We had more Dark Order love and everything all happening there. So, hot opener each week. You can be prepared for a hot opener.
Yes, every single week.
And that's the cool thing. Then, this video came on. Now, if you'd have told me a couple months ago, and actually when I was live, pal, when I was live down there, I went to go see Dynamite in Daily Place. And when I was down there, Jade Cargill, it was like her first night there where she was in the crowd.
Right.
And I remember like, holy crap, that's a big chick, you know? Like,
she's tall.
She's huge. And then she was at the hotel later and she was like the biggest dude there. So I was just like, wow.
Don't mess with that one.
Yeah, I mean that with love. But if you'd have told me a couple months ago that Jade Cargill was going to have this video package, I'd be like, you know, I hope it's on dark, or I hope it's like a internet bonus or something I don't have to watch. But they put it on there, and man, she had like, you know, I don't know, 10 plates on each side, and she was really lifting some heavy weight, right?
Oh,
I think she was curling of 80 pounders and all this stuff. It was really, I mean, it did what it needed to do because we've already seen her thighs.
Yes.
I mean, we've seen her thighs. I think everybody noticed her thighs on the Britt Baker special. You know, everybody's like, oh God, starring Jade Cargill's thighs.
It's basically a horror movie for you. You're like, please no.
Yeah, listen. She is a monster, and I love it. I absolutely love it. This training footage video, this was great. This was done really well, and it sold me more on, you know, what a big deal she is and what a big deal she is for the company.
Yeah.
This is huge. I mean, this can be a real dominant female.
Oh, geez. If she starts coming after the title.
Well,
no.
That's cool though. I mean, I think that it's really cool. I think there's a lot there.
Yeah,
that you can do.
I can't wait.
You know, or she'll break that barrier because she's got the believability to her.
Yeah. I could see her kicking some butt.
Yeah. I mean, like I said, she's got the power.
Yes, definitely.
Does she have the glory? And moving on from that, we had Darby Allin and Sting. So I've seen some heat on this. I've seen some people going, hey, you're doing the same thing every week. But you know what you're doing every week? You're actually putting Darby and Sting out there. You could do that with a backstage segment if you wanted to, but Tony Khan, if you've listened to any of his interviews, he likes to do most everything in the ring if possible. Like his only regret about Le Dinner Debonair was that they didn't do it in the ring, because he doesn't mind segments like that as long as it's centered, it's like ring centric.
Right.
Because it's a wrestling show.
Of course.
And so I get that. It is what it is, man. It didn't take a couple minutes of your life.
Yeah.
And if they weren't coming out and telling you what was happening, I think people would just complain as much.
Yeah.
But
they got a big match coming up.
They do, and it has furthered. You know what happens when you don't do that? You get the internet crybabies going,
No, but this FTR Young Bucks match, I don't think it's been built very good. FTR said so themselves, and they're totally not working anybody when they say stuff like that because they're supposed to be pissed off, angry people. And, that's exactly what happened. Oh, wait. This match was the best match I've ever seen. It was 18 stars. Oh, here it is. Wait, here's another one. Oh, there's another star.
That's what happens. Okay, so why don't you take a big glass of shut the fuck up and just enjoy it, all right? I try to drink that. I do. I drank 4 or 5 of them during the Rumble. and it still didn't work. So I get it when it comes out, but sometimes it's unwarranted. Because if you didn't have a build of any kind, then you would be like, there's just not enough heat. All right? So just whatever.
Just listen to Darby Allin and Sting and be happy.
It was what it was, and it progressed it a bit, and you got to see a really cold Brian Cage, which I don't know why. He just normally don't, I don't know if the steroids help with the cold, but it just usually doesn't look like he feels things like that because he's superhuman,
Yes.
like badass Badger. So
they weren't allowed in the building for their attack on the merch stand last week.
Yeah, well, I don't blame them. That poor frozen merch stand outside, those guys get no love whatsoever.
They're just gonna make you stand outside in the middle of February or January.
Yeah, it shouldn't be cold in Jacksonville though.
No, it shouldn't be.
Damn it, it's Vince doing that. You got that weather manipulator.
Call Harp.
So then we go on to Dr. Britt Baker in all her gloriness.
Oh.
I think that's a word now.
Yes.
Gloriness.
Gloriness.
In all her gloriness, defeating Thunder Rosa. Now this was, for all intents and purposes, of course it was a match we were supposed to have a while back, but somebody had to get sick. This was a main event. Anywhere in the country, you can have this one and sell them out. Ding dong. But it was good, man. It was really good. Thunder Rosa looked really sharp. They had the right amount of everything in this match, and as far as I'm concerned, I think it went great, and I think the right person won. So
even if it was a bit of a screwy finish with the turnbuckle being taken off and her knocking her out with it.
Yeah, but that keeps her strong.
Yeah.
It keeps her heat.
It's a little bit New Yorky, but sometimes heels have to cheat.
They did it well, though.
Yeah, sometimes heels do have to cheat.
Yes, sometimes they do.
And this was if there's ever been a heel that would cheat,
it would be Britt Baker.
It would be Britt Baker. All right. And plus, you could blame that dirty scoundrel Reba Rebel.
Yeah, you can. It was all her.
Yeah, it was her. So Hangman Adam Page and Matt Hardy defeated Chaos Project in a match that, I cried a little during just because that's when I'm not feeling that much. It's part of the broader Hangman story. Hangman's dressing in his dressing room now. Matt's after that ass.
It's so awkward, though, with him trying to hug him after the match.
Oh,
after stealing his win.
Dude, it's one of those, hey, I heard you lost your home. Did you get kicked out? And
yeah, I got kicked out.
Well, you can stay at my place. Listen, I got it all to myself. I'm not going to... You don't have to worry about me. I'm one of the good guys.
Predatory Matt Hardy.
I'll sleep on the couch. That's what I hear when I hear it. And because I've been in a locker room with somebody who would always take the stray chicks. Right. That, every time there was a runaway, somehow they found wrestling. And
it's just like the circus.
Yeah, exactly. They run away to the wrestling and they're in the crowd. And it's just like, hey, that's Cindy. Oh, she's homeless.
Oh, really?
Freshly homeless. But yeah. Anyway, Inner Circle, more backstage drama.
Yes, the fallout from the Battle Royal where Chris Jericho eliminated Sammy, and he's like, "Oh, we're always the collateral damage," and he rocks out.
But if you notice, Sammy gets pissed off and walks out.
Yes.
So then Chris has to leave.
And follow him.
Follow him because Sammy knew that would happen.
Yes, he did.
And that left MJF in there with everybody else.
To talk it over.
Yeah, because Sammy and MJF have the master plan.
Yeah, that's it. That's what's happening here.
I mean, it's obvious.
It's all too convenient that Sammy would lead Chris Jericho out at that very moment.
Yeah, Chris is going to be a super babyface, man.
Oh, I feel bad for him. They're going to double cross him.
Yeah, they are. They're gonna just.
You think any of the Inner Circle members are gonna?
No.
Oh.
No.
Okay.
I think it's gonna be one big heel faction.
Alrighty then. I mean, how do you get even more heel than you already are? Double cross your leader.
Yeah.
MJF has a history of that, so.
Well, I mean, it's time. It is time for Chris to be a babyface. So I'm just saying, it'll be beautiful when it happens.
Yes.
Maybe it ain't gonna happen like that, but it just seems that way.
We're pretty sure it is, though.
And then we had the big marriage segment, the big wedding.
The wedding.
So Penelope Ford and Kip Sabian got married. You had the Sinister Minister out there, James Mitchell, which was freaking fantastic.
Mm-hmm.
I love him. I just do. I loved him in ECW. Mm-hmm. Mikey Whipwreck and Tajiri in ECW are one of my unsung favorite teams. It's one of my listed, if you list my top 10 favorite tag teams of all time, they're in the top 5.
Wow.
And a lot of people just don't even remember them, but they were innovators and they were exciting. And I love the gimmick with James Mitchell. I emulated many of his tropes over the years. I can't help it because that's kind of what I look like when I smile. I'm just evil.
Just have that look.
Yeah, and it's kind of the side of things I like. So
Right.
it's just I follow that way. And plus, I have to give the guy credit because the first time I was ever backstage at TNA back in, I don't know, it was the first year of TNA's operations, I think. I know it was the first night that the Ring of Honor guys came down because in the locker room that night, I shook hands with the Briscoe babies. It was the Briscoe brothers when they were just babies. Little cute, little fresh-faced babies. All the kids came down together.
Right.
That night, or guys, because we were all kids then.
Right.
But I was backstage, and I remember Jeff Jarrett, and the Wall was there still. He was still alive, and because he had some killer tattoos of some like COC tats and stuff like that. But James Mitchell, I had on my Dead Level shirt from my band, which Kid Cash actually took the name of for his finisher with permission.
Yes.
But it said Poison from Birth because that's in one of my songs. And I had that on, and he's seen my shirt, and he's like, Poison from Birth. We are, aren't we? We really are. So you guys here for a tryout tonight? You guys workers? So he passed through that first question without asking me again, and I was just like, yeah, we're workers, because we are workers.
Right.
So we sit on the bleachers talking to him for a while, and he couldn't get over it. He loved our size and how dark we were, and
that's awesome.
all this stuff, and then that went nowhere. So
it just ended.
But he had good eye for talent.
Yes.
I'll just have to
Yes, he
admit that.
did.
I just should have kissed him. That's the only problem. If I could go back in time, those lips I would kiss. There's quite a few of them.
And then he reappears in your life on AEW.
Yes. Well, I think I've seen him a few times since then, but yeah, he reappeared as the Sinister Minister of this, and it was a bunch of dick and fart jokes, basically. Made me uncomfortable.
Yeah, a little bit.
It was just too much.
Yeah.
And I've never seen a wedding segment that I've enjoyed.
I'm not into that kind of humor, so.
Yeah, me either. It's too cheap. Somebody made a great statement the other day. I think it was Roman Reigns. It might be an older interview, but it was something I just recently read.
Right.
And he was like, I would love to have been able to work in the late 90s because it was so much easier then to get heat because you were allowed cheap heat. They did all the dirty stuff. And
right.
He's like, now, it's so much harder to get heat when you got to do it in a PG way.
Right, yeah, of course.
And I was like, oh my God, that's so true.
I can't imagine trying to work in a PG setting as a wrestler.
Yeah, but very true though. And anyway, Chucky was out there as Charles the Butler. You knew something was going to happen. The thing I did love about it was, again, in AEW, a lot of times they're smart to the business. Mm-hmm. And they're just like, wait a second, there's a cake back there or a package back there.
Yeah.
That is human sized.
It's suspiciously human sized.
And he's like, who brought that gift? And Chuck's like, well, that's my gift. And of course, Miro destroys it and throws it outside, and there was nothing in it. So you're like, oh, wow, he one-upped him there. So he tells him to clean it up. Chuck goes outside, and obviously in this time he must have had the handcuffs there. And without me or anyone noticing, he handcuffed Miro's foot to the turnbuckle, and one thing led to another. Orange pops out the cake. They beat the crap out of everybody. Miro's stuck, really angry, and good stuff.
Sweet redemption.
It actually ended, that segment ended with the baby faces on top. Good stuff, and it builds more to their...
To the tag match.
Yeah, to the tag match. So, it was what it was. And it wasn't bad, wasn't memorable.
No, it was a wrestling wedding.
Yeah, there you go.
This sums it up.
We go to Cody and Red Velvet against Shaq and Jade Cargill, announcement for March 3rd on Dynamite instead of the pay-per-view. Now, the reason for this is it got moved up due to Shaq having to do the NBA All-Star game that weekend, that Sunday, when they're having a pay-per-view. But in the world of being smart, I think it works out brilliantly because you're having this major, huge, gigantic, ginormous match with Shaquille O'Neal and the crossover that you're going to have from that on free TV. So if you don't break 1 million that night, I don't know. I mean, it's
bound to bring in more viewers.
That's got to be the 1 million night.
Yes, it has to be.
Yeah.
As close as we've gotten so far.
I know we've had a night, right? I think there was one that was the over 1 million, but this is like the big. This one should be huge.
It should be.
As long, and they're pushing it correctly, but it should really be huge. So I would line that card with everybody I want to showcase. Like everybody, like we talk about Sammy doesn't have many matches, MJF doesn't have many matches on TV. I would have all the guys.
Just put as many stars as possible on there.
Yeah, like the first night of Dynamite ever, Cody and Sammy. Mm-hmm. That match was a brilliant opener.
Yes.
I would have an opener of that caliber.
Oh yeah, you have to.
And
you have to beat all your other openers.
Yeah, I mean, it's got to be a big thing. Hopefully it will be. We go to Lance Archer then defeating Eddie Kingston in a lumberjack match. This match, I don't know, man. It just didn't do much for me. I see what they're doing with Lance. I get it. I like him better as a babyface than I do a heel. I'm not a huge Lance Archer guy. I still have trouble getting past the water spitting incidents in New Japan.
Yeah.
And I know character, all this stuff. I get it.
It's a bit much.
But I didn't like it. I just didn't like it. And he's the nicest guy. Like in person, he's the nicest guy, right? He's a really good dude. He's put his years in. He's went everywhere. He deserves what he gets. He's got the size. He's a good looking guy,
Well, maybe you'd like him more if he was that good guy in wrestling.
That's what I'm saying.
Instead of just the Murder Hawk Monster.
Right. It's just, he did some cool stuff in this. And we got Eddie Kingston getting beat again. So we go to that to FTR.
In this video.
The whole time during this FTR promo, I keep looking around because I think my surround sound's messing up.
What's that rattling?
Yeah, I'm like, and I can't figure out what it is. It's a good Tully Blanchard promo, and then all of a sudden they pan out, and Marco Stunt has been kidnapped. All right,
poor Marco.
And the whole time that was the sound was him bouncing around, and it's brilliant. It was hilarious. It really was.
The perfect level of ridiculous.
Mm-hmm.
I can't wait to see the fallout from that.
Absolutely. Then we go to, oh my God. Kenny Omega and the Good Brothers against Jon Moxley, Rey Fenix, and Pac.
Whew.
Folks, every time we have a main event, somebody seems to step up.
Yeah.
And, somebody just different steps up. Now, this time, Phoenix, he set his degree of difficulty to 11.
Yeah.
And he absolutely performed a 12. Mm-hmm. It was amazing.
He set himself a standard that most people can't reach.
The stuff he did in this match, I've never seen him do a lot of it. And he just did acrobatics that are just, and he throws himself into everything. He just throws himself into everything so much. It's just fantastic. Just fantastic. He alone had a 5-star match.
Yes, I agree.
It was brilliant. And we get down to the fact, you want to take the end here?
Well, after Kenny Omega and the Good Brothers won, they started beating down on Mox and Phoenix and, doing their heel thing. So Lance Archer comes out to save them, which just furthers the babyface thing.
Right.
In my opinion. Even though Phoenix and Pac aren't technically babyfaces. But he comes out and gets them out of the way. And then it leaves Kenny and Mox in the ring. And Kenny's about to do something when out of nowhere, someone appears. masked man appears in the ring to take out John Moxley with a go to sleep. And who was that masked man?
Well, it was Kenta. And as far as forbidden things, little forbidden door, as people like to say, got opened up big time. Because Kenta, and not just any Kenta, if you watch Mox's promo off NJPW Strong the following Friday night, he wants the old Kenta. He wants the Kenta that really was a darling of everyone's because he was just so damn violent.
We all want old Kenta.
And Kenta, man, I'm telling you, it was magnificent reaction. This reaction on the internet was basically Scott Hall walking out on Nitro when he had just been Razor Ramon. And it was that level, you know, like I'm waiting for the Nash to show up and then Hogan to turn heel when you get the full NWO. Of course, Hogan turning heel was the biggest thing ever.
Yeah.
And surprise, and you formed the NWO. So when Scott Hall showed up, it was a weird shock, man. I was watching it live, and I was like, oh, wow. And that was this. That was, you know, you kind of hope it's going to happen.
But you don't actually expect it to.
Yeah, you feel something could happen. You even know they're having a match. But that was in its own confines.
Yeah, I had no idea that Kenta was just going to appear on AEW like that. Like, I had no expectations of that happening whatsoever.
And, of course, it's got the whole world dreaming. For good reason, you know, so I'm trying to take the slow burn on it, make sure that things are as cool as they seem.
Yes, we don't want to get our hopes up too much.
Yeah, but man, it's fantastic. When you think about the working relationships, you know, you think about, oh my God, the possibilities. But, you know, they did an after the show thing where Kenta was walking outside and he was for internet only. And Kenny's like, hey, brother, you know, and he's like, fuck you. And he's seriously, you know. And
exactly what he said.
He's like, I'm not here for you. I was here to take out Moxley. And Kenny's like, oh, that's okay, you know. And he's talking to the camera. And he's just like, hey, let's make it. Let's sign a tag match next week. So that's awesome because that just furthers it along. And they're going to do a lights out deal.
Yeah,
so
and it's hard not to get your hopes up when they actually are going to have a match.
No count out, no DQ, all that stuff.
It's ridiculous.
It's right in the wheelhouse that it needs to be. So it's going to be Mox teaming with Lance Archer against Kenta and Kenny Omega in a lights out match. That's just fantastic.
Falls count anywhere. There's going to be some violence.
Yeah, that's going to be violent. And not only that, but you're going to have Darby Allin versus Joey Janela. Okay,
I'm so excited.
I don't think people realize, like your common normal AEW fan who's only seen Joey out there looking at Sonny's butt, I don't think you realize what Darby versus Joey is. I mean, you go back to like Pro Wrestling Guerrilla, early 2019, they tore down the freaking house in PWG. They've torn down the house in the Northeast as well.
Yeah.
And they have amazing matches. Darby wanted this match. He's getting this match, and it's going to be freaking wild. I'm just going to tell you right now, this one has potential to be crazy. Now, is it going to be toned down a little bit because of that lights out main event?
Probably.
Maybe, maybe not.
They don't generally take each other's safety into account when they face.
No, it's going to be appointment viewing. I tell you that. It's going to be must watch TV. Pretty cool stuff though. And I tell you, man, all in all, I know what we're going to get completely into what's coming up on the next Dynamite, but I got to say, all in all, I give this another excellent show.
Yeah, I would agree. If we were on the edge of our seat the whole time.
Excellente. It's definitely an excellente. It is amazing. So coming up, I'll hit dark first because, you know, that's the good order of things. Sorry. And for the first time in over a year, Mr. Pac, not your kind of Pac, not your heat stuff, but Pac will be on AEW Dark, and he's going to be facing VSK, which means he's going to be jobbing the hell out of somebody, and it's going to be a beautiful. It was the last time he was on. It was all the way back in December 2019. I think I was there live. It was a hybrid. It was a hybrid 2 and a win over Best Friends and Orange Cassidy. Pretty confident I might have seen my boy that night, which is in the hybrid 2. And I'm not going to really get into it, but his name's not Jack Evans. Anyway, he's going to look to extend to a 5-match winning streak.
Ooh.
I think he might be able to do it.
Yeah, probably.
Even though it's against an indie darling, so it's going to be a great match. It's still going to be a great match.
Yes.
I think it's going to be great. Also announced is Marco Stunt, hopefully not kidnapped anymore. It's going to be hard to work with a chair. but he could win anyway because he's going to be going against Ryan Nemeth.
He's going to beat him with the chair.
Yeah, I hope he beats him with a damn chair. Honestly, I don't have much for Ryan Nemeth. But anyway, he's going to be on there, and it'll be interesting. Several participants for the upcoming women's title contender eliminator tournament will be in action, and we're going to talk about that in a second too. As Taekante, with Anna Jay, will face Alex Gracia and Nyla Rose, who will have Vicky Guerrero with her, hopefully in the nun outfits. And they
can only hope.
They will take on the returning Miranda Alize. So something there for everybody. Although she's not in the tournament, Red Velvet, your girl, with Big Swole, will prepare for her high-profile match with Cody Rhodes against Shaquille O'Neal and Jade Cargill by facing Diamante with Ivelisse and their mean bitch resting face, whatever. Bitch resting. It's a bitch resting.
Wake her up.
The rest of the 12-match lineup includes, but it's not limited to, Joey Janela with Sonny the Kiss will prepare for his TNT title match against Darby Allin. Darby. Harry Potter must not return to school. Wednesday is by facing Jack Evans with Angelico. Anyway, Kiss will also face KC Navarro on the show and the Sunshine Boys. Peter Avalon and Caesar Bologna. Well, they're going to be in here, and they're going to be prepared for their big Wednesday opportunity against Cody Rhodes and Shotty Lee Johnson by facing Sean Dean, the captain, and Carly Bravo, who is not Mare Factory trainee. And then, when you get the match with Cody, that's going to have Cody across the ring from Caesar Bologna. I think Cody's going to stretch him personally. I think it's all been a big ruse. So Cody,
he's like, I want you in the ring.
I just think Cody doesn't like him. I mean, he thinks he smells like Chef Boyardee too much. And it bothers him because he should smell like authentic Italian, and he doesn't. He smells like canned Italian. Anyway, SCU will look to remain unbeaten since their recent winner split declaration when they take on Shotty Lee and Aaron So Slow. Brian Cage with Hook will take on Jake St. Patrick's Day. Dark Order's number 10, who is Dark Order's dark match guy, versus Baron de Black. And to round things out, Natural Neat Mirrors of Dustin Rhodes and QT Marshall with Nick Camarato will take on Very Morales, because he is Very Morales, and Jersey Muscle Society. So there you go. That's a full card of that. But
wait, no Fuego del Sol?
No, no chance this week. Maybe we'll see on Sammy's vlog that Cody just eviscerates him this week.
He just destroys him.
Yeah, there's a Cody wearing a suit action figure coming out.
Yes.
I'm so excited. I just want my Cody in the suit. I'm gonna put it on my dash. I'm gonna have him talk to me during the day when I'm having a bad day.
That'd be amazing.
Yeah.
He's very uplifting.
It would be uplifting. They have real reason to put me in the crazy house at that point. And so we get to the February 10th AEW Dynamite. And man, is this going to be a big one, or is this going to be a big one? Because we've got the chosen son himself. We've got Cody Rhodes, our savior.
All hail. And
Shotty Lee versus Peter the Avalon and Caesar Bologna, as previously mentioned.
You just can't help yourself.
Chris Jericho. That's what his name would be if he was in another country. And MJF versus The Acclaimed. This is going to be beautiful.
Oh, I can't wait for that one.
It's going to, my God, the rap is going to be funny.
Oh, God.
Darby Allin, as we talked about, versus Joey Janela in this would have popped every indie in the nation 3 years ago match, where they're going to probably fall off rafters.
Everything.
Yeah, where there are no rafters, but by God, if they're going to build some just to fall off of them. And then in your main event, your announced main event, Kenta, New Japan Bullet Club standout Kenta, will be teaming with the Elite's version of the Bullet Clubs, Kenny Omega, and all-around champion, the belt collector himself, as they take on Jon Moxley, just the most angry man on the planet who does great promos, and Lance Archer, the angrier man on the planet who doesn't do good promos. And they will be in a lights-out match. Now, kids, back in my day, we had lights out matches because it couldn't be sanctioned. It's so damn dirty that they had to just turn the lights out for real. And after all the assaults took place, they turned the lights back up, and then they had a lights out match. The lights weren't actually out during the match. We tried that once. It didn't go very well. And they do the lights out match because it's supposed to be, look, everybody doesn't work here. We can't sanction this. It's too violent. So that's why everything's allowed, because it's just so violent. And luckily, they normally get a referee to agree. You know, like, yeah, I'll do that.
It's gonna be so
even
violent.
though it's not sanctioned.
Yeah.
And sometimes they even get the TV network to be like, oh shit, we'll show it. It's fine. it's fine. It's all good.
You can put that here.
Yeah. We'll take the money from it. We're just not going to sanction it. Yeah, I mean, it's going to be another great show. I think everything leading up to Revolution is just going to be banana bonkers. So
Setting up an amazing pay-per-view.
yeah, man, some good television. There's some good television coming up. We've had some good television. Everybody's little minds are dreaming about the New Japan matchups and what could happen, what might not happen. Give me 3 matchups, Raja. 3 matchup dream matches. If we open that forbidden door so big that we didn't have any travel restrictions and nothing, give me 3 matches you want to see in the Tokyo Dome.
3 matches. Okay. I'd like to see Proud and Powerful against GOD. I just think they would beat the crap out of each other.
Yeah, they match up well.
Yeah, I agree. The aggression is all over the place.
Yeah, they match up very well. I would love to see Proud and Powerful get that shot in like a Tokyo Dome setting.
Yeah. They could deliver.
Yeah, I think that would be fantastic, honestly. That would be really good. I'll tell you the sad one that we don't get to see is I would freaking love to see Brody Lee in Japan.
Oh, yeah.
Brody Lee was made for New Japan.
He really was.
And
there could be some crazy matchups with him.
I know that was one of his dreams.
Oh, man.
So that would have been really cool.
That would have been incredible.
Not to bring the house down, but you know.
Sorry about that.
One of the things I'm excited about, and I'll go back while you're doing your number 2 in your head. One of the things I'm excited about is really something nobody I've seen mention much, but you know, New Japan's based on tours and based on tournaments, right? Mm-hmm. So you have like who could be in the G1. Now we're not just talking about AEW here. I mean, the Ring of Honor door is already there. The AAA door is there from Ring of Honor and AEW. The Impact door is there because of AEW. Mm-hmm. So you've got quite a few feds involved in this now. And, you know, it's a lot of excitement. You know, you've got so much cool. You got Dragon Lee, you know, that could always be brought into this mix. We know what that does with...
Needs to be brought in.
You know what that does with the Hiromu thing, right?
Yes.
But you have those guys and you throw in like a freaking Sammy Guevara or anybody in with that. I mean, it's some amazing stuff. We've seen Jericho face all the top guys pretty much. We've seen Cody face a lot of them. You know, the Bucks have been in there. So, I mean, there's matches that we know are great. Right off the bat, Cody and Okada. You know, of course, Omega versus everybody. That should be the shirt.
Everybody. But
the ready-made one, I think we would both agree, would be Omega and Kota Ibushi.
Oh, yeah. That's number 1.
That's full circle.
Need to see that. Need to see it. Maybe not right this second, but we need that.
I mean, that kind of goes into that Dragon Lee Hiromu thing where you can go through so many different federations and really make a DVD one day of the real story.
Yeah.
And just this amazing, well thought out told story.
Just cry and watch it.
I mean, just some really good storytelling. And when that comes around, I don't think they've made an arena big enough to hold that match.
Yeah, I don't. How are they gonna do it?
I tell you,
I imagine it would be Wrestle Kingdom level, but
well, I would like to see people back in the arenas and Okada Omega in the States. That'd be pretty damn cool.
That would be cool.
You know, because we've not had a chance to be.
We haven't seen that.
Yeah.
In person.
Yeah, so I'd like to see that with the American fans.
I agree. That would be amazing. Please bring that to America.
I believe they would lose their Vulcan minds.
We would, absolutely.
But I don't know. There are so many endless. You got another one?
Ishii and Miro.
Wow.
Just 2 hosses.
Wow.
In the ring.
Speaking of that, what about the man who instills fear into everyone's hearts, Minoru Suzuki? My God. I mean, you just look at that guy, and let me tell you, from having one of my best friends on the roster, that's a shoot. He really instills fear in your heart.
Yeah.
And
it's not a gimmick. No,
it's a real life thing. But what would happen when you put him against a man with no fear?
Cero Miedo.
Yeah. What happens with that?
I don't know.
You know, Pentagon against Suzuki is a wet dream.
I guess we'd have to find out.
I mean, that's violence, man. That's beauty. So much there, but you got weird stuff people's not thinking about, like TH2 versus Dangerous Tekkers.
Ooh, you just want Angelico and Zack Sabre Jr. in the same ring.
Yeah, I do. I want to make sure they're different people. I think Angelico may be like the nightclub version of ZSJ,
Yeah.
Like, he don't want his dad to know about his other life.
He's
and
wearing a wig.
he goes out and DJs,
Yeah.
while he's dressing all freaking metro,
Yes.
So
of course.
I think that match could either lull everyone in America to a sleep, all right, or be the most amazing thing we've ever seen.
Yes. I think it's more likely to be the second one.
What happens when they counter each other so much that no one ever scores anything on the other one? Like, it's all complete.
It's just them going in circles.
I mean, a time limit draw where everything was chain wrestling that was countered.
Oh, geez. They might open a portal or something.
And then Suzuki pop out, hello, little troll Suzuki. We've always had a little joke around the house when Suzuki matches. I'll turn it down because he looks like a little troll guarding the bridge.
Like a little goblin from the forest.
And Red Shoes is part of the fantasy, and it's a long story. But
we entertain ourselves.
We have a lot of fun. That was back when we just had the Japanese commentary.
Yeah.
When Kevin Kelly's there, he keeps our minds in check. But no, there is tons. I mean, you put Will Ospreay out there and think about the craziness with like Will Ospreay versus like anybody, like Darby, Will Ospreay versus Sammy, Will Ospreay versus any of these cats,
he needs
man.
to do more hardcore matches after that last one.
He does. But let me put Phoenix and Will Ospreay.
Oh, yes.
I mean, what?
Somebody might get hurt.
I mean, what? That's just amazing. It really is.
Man.
So I don't know, man. There's a lot of stuff that can happen. Pretty excited about it. But while we're on the subject of New Japan and we, new beginnings, just like Zach's, nightlife, we're going to new beginning in Hiroshima.
And before we talk about the big shows coming up, I just want to say between the new beginning in Nagoya and this one, some pretty weird stuff happened. For one, Jay White returned.
Oh, yeah, and beat up Ishii.
On the February 1st show, might I add, the night after the Royal Rumble.
Yes, which is kind of like, is Jay White going to show up? Yeah, he never was.
But another thing I saw was Tama Tonga teasing Tai Chi that he had the iron fingers, and when he opened the bag, it was a roll of toilet paper.
That's amazing. That is absolutely amazing.
Oh, good old-fashioned comedy.
I think the Iron Fingers found their way out. Like,
they're lost now.
I don't think you can actually steal those. I think they have to be gifted.
Oh, okay. So they just poofed out of existence.
Yeah, they poof out of existence.
Oh, goodness.
That's I don't know. That's cool stuff. But yeah, new beginning in Hiroshima, February 10th. We're gonna have some incredible matches, main event wise. Tonga Loa and Tama Tonga, God themselves will be going against Zack Sabre Jr. and Tai Chi, the Dangerous Techers, for the IWGP Heavyweight Tag Titles. I think that GOD's going to lose.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I do.
That soon?
Yeah, I think they're going to lose. I think they're going to get pwned.
Yes.
That's not going to happen. God will win, but it's just I don't know why I like the Dangerous Techers.
They just work.
I just can't explain it. I don't know if it's the lack of tag teams they have, and I'm like trying to find love in a tag team. But
it must be.
They need tag
team
teams.
delusion.
They need tag teams.
They desperately
and juniors.
need tag teams.
Like the two things that they need right now, that they have tournaments for both, they've got to have tag teams and juniors.
Yes.
They're going to have to kidnap people, create people, breed people.
Create people.
What,
just clone the wrestlers you have now.
You know what I'm glad? The only good thing about the travel lockdowns has been is we haven't had to see those Chinese fuckers. The only thing I hated on the AEW,
not a fan,
was like, well, we're developing these Chinese wrestlers.
and like T-Hawk and
No, T-Hawk and Thunder Pussy or whatever they were. I don't care about them. Never liked them. There was something square about them that I just didn't. Didn't get behind. You know what I mean? Just thought about them randomly because I was thinking, well, we could get some Chinese. No, let's not get the Chinese. So we've got also in the main event, the IWGP Junior Heavyweight title will be defended by Hiromu Takahashi.
Yes.
As he takes on Show, not Grow, because he's that cool. Show is going to show up and show out, and Show enough going to get beat.
He better.
Because that's just how it works. Also on the card, you get to see my young boy, which is Gabriel Kidd, teaming with my other young boy, which is Yuya, and Raja's, which is Suji.
I love Yoda Tsuji. He just does it for me.
Yeah, well, he don't do it for me.
Well,
I don't know how you.
I'll be cheering.
I don't know how you could put him in a room with Yuya Uemura and say that he's the best
I didn't say he was the best. I said I liked him.
Oh, well. Liking don't pay your bills.
I don't dislike him.
Yeah, anyway, they're going to be getting killed. So they're going to get Desperado, Kanemaru, and Suzuki himself.
Oh, no, not Suzuki.
He's going to
Why would you do that to them?
Then Master Whack-Off versus Bushhog.
Oh,
and
it's the match from the call-out.
Oh, my God, I forgot that was called out.
I think I'm going to fight Master Watto.
On the list of things that we make fun of, that one is a thing. Oh, we're going to have to watch it.
Oh, yeah.
That's a big deal now.
Watch it be amazing.
You know it will. Just so, because we're going to have to call it.
5 stars.
So, then Yano, Yoshihashi, Goto, excuse you, Ishii, and Okada versus El Fantasmo, or Commentator Extraordinero, Ishimori, or Angry Small Guy, Yujiro, or Pimp Man, Jay White, you dirty, conniving, not really leaving bastard. Boy, I'm glad you didn't leave. And everything is evil. Do you think you're ever on a road trip and you're like, hey, where you guys want to eat? It don't matter. Everything evil. Yeah. Everything's evil, but you know,
Probably gets tiring.
Well, what are you in the mood for? Rice, shrimp. I mean, it's Japan. Fish. It don't matter. Everything evil. You know, it's like everything is evil. That's the only thing you say.
Yeah. Like he's like a Pokemon.
He is a Pokemon.
Everything is evil.
He looks like a Pokemon. Then we got this barn burner. If New Japan can make me care about this one, you're doing something. I know you put some flawless specimen of God in there, but if it's got Hanma in the match, I'm not going to like it. So Hanma and Ibushi versus Naito and Sonata. Now, it's hard to tell which one has more personality, Hanma and his broken head, or Sonata and his broken head.
His cold skull.
Yeah. I don't know which one is, but we've got Ibushi and Naito.
Yeah.
So that's cool.
That's a highlight.
Yeah, there will be some highlights from it. So that rounds out the card. But listen, if it says New Japan on the box, it's got to be good.
Yes.
So they don't make bad stuff. You know, like I said, if I just had that match the other night end up being a damn like 5-star match in my head, then unbelievable
Yes.
that what they can pull out of their ass. So it's called booking, folks.
It's amazing what you can do with it.
It's called booking. New Japan New Beginning in Hiroshima night, February 11th. You got Gabe Kidd again, Yuya Uemura and Tsuji against Dookie.
Ew.
Smells like ZSJ and Tai Chi.
Well, at least Suzuki's not in there to abuse them.
Yeah, every fucking time.
Suzuki's haunting himself.
Well, hold up. We got Kanemaru, El Despi, and Suzuki.
There he is.
I was just seeing if it would give us the interference this time. Suzuki. All right. Every time we say Suzuki, we get interference and we don't usually have interference. It's really strange.
It must just be a manifestation of our fear.
Yeah, it's this little Suzuki going to pop out in a second. Against El Fantasmo, Ishimori, and Yojiro. So then we got Master Whack-Off, Sho, and Hanma. Oh, Jesus.
What a team.
Oh, my God. Against Bushi, Hiromu, and Naito. Why do you do this to me? You put Hiromu in a match that I would totally skip, and I can't skip it if I've got this green bastard beside me, because she'll be like, oh, I can't let you go by Hiromu.
We might skip that one.
Okay. Then you got Yano and Okada versus Dick to Go and Evil. And this is going to be my Japanese business. Then we get to Dookie working twice for some reason, and the Dangerous Techers versus Jado and God.
Yes.
So pretty cool match there. And then for the main event, folks, the main event of the weekend, so to speak, for the IWGP Heavyweight Championship and the IWGP Intercontinental Championship, because he's a double champion, pal. You got the new god, the better god, the god killer himself, Kota Ibushi, versus Sonata.
Yeah.
So Sonata will probably have a really good showing, and that's better be it.
That better be it.
That better be the only thing.
Swear to God, if after a month you put the belt on Sonata.
Yeah, that's not the kind of transition I want to see. So
No.
we're all good. Good stuff, though. It's always New Japan. If you don't have New Japan World, then you're kidding yourself about being a human. Also, you're going to have to find a way to get Roku, because the New Japan show on Roku is starting like now, basically.
Yeah.
Anytime. I'm actually was in line to get a new TV So I'm going to just get a Roku TV because I have Amazon Fire on everything because luck. At the time, Amazon Fire was like the way to see in GPW world.
Yeah.
So
that was what everyone was talking about.
Yeah.
Get your Fire Stick.
Yeah. So I got my Fire TV and all that stuff. And I needed another Do TV anyway. So I'm just going to get a Roku TV.
Because why not?
And yeah, why the hell not? So you guys can tell me if there's anything cool I need to watch on Roku other than New Japan. And before we move on to the main event, I got to talk about this, man, because I'm really excited about the women's tournament coming up for AEW.
Me too.
They're going to have an American block and a Japanese block. The American block is going to be taped in Jacksonville, obviously, and the international block will be sent to Japan. I guess you could have figured all that out for yourself. But the American block has Serena Dweeb versus Riho in her first round match, which I'm pretty excited about because Riho is coming back.
Yes.
She is moving to Florida, so she will be a regular.
Oh, yay.
And she'll be on all the time, and hopefully they'll make a better action figure of her. But I'm pretty excited about it, especially if some of the Japanese Yoshi Pro stuff we've been watching. You know, we've been trying to get ourselves ready for this tournament, so we were going through and watching some of the Tokyo Yoshi Pro, and Jesus, dude. Riho comes in, and she's just like, I mean, she's like a class act.
Yeah.
When she shows up there, they're like, well, she's been working since she's 9. She just eats people for lunch, man.
The best of the best.
Yeah, it makes you, like, respect her a lot more.
Yeah.
And you know when you're getting her, you're getting somebody that really knows their shit. And
yeah.
That's amazing. So Riho's back. And I bet she'll be in title contention in no time at all. But,
oh, yeah. Definitely.
Others on the U.S. side, looks like it's going to be Britt Baker, Ty Conti. I'm telling you, dude, Ty Conti's legit. She's the real deal. So is Britt. Anna Jay. I mean, the future here. Thunder Rosa. top tier, man. Nyla Rose and Layla Hirsch. So, I mean.
Don't want any of them to get eliminated.
It's pretty amazing to me. I mean, there's a lot of. The only thing I wish is that instead of Layla Hirsch, no offense to Layla. But I wish Chris Statlander was back.
Oh, I miss Chris.
I think Chris Statlander is that missing piece.
We've loved Chris for so long.
Yeah, way before AEW.
Our favorite alien.
Yeah, absolutely. She's exciting, funny, and sweet, and amazing, and she's like got a lot of oomph to what she does. So hopefully she'll be back before too long. She's obviously backstage a lot. So, and right now we're not really sure how the matches are going to be distributed. Like if they'll be on Dark, YouTube, or on their own special show, which would be kind of cool to have an extra show just for these, matches.
Yes.
The 8 women in the Japanese side are Aja Kong, Vinny, Yuka Sakasaki, Emi Sakura, Riho Mizunami, Ma Shigura, Rin Kodakura, and our bitch, Maki Ito, and the Ito Respect Army.
I can't wait to see her.
Maki Ito is my pick. I want her to come out singing. I want her to come out just being all full of piss and vinegar. The problem is her gimmicks is being the lovable loser, right?
Yes.
I really love Maki Ito to win the Japanese side.
Oh, we can only hope.
Well,
fingers crossed.
Dave said in The Observer, whoever wins the Japanese block will be over here for a while, because why would you go through you're going to have to be quarantined for 2 weeks. You're going to have to be, there's a lot of shit when you do this, and then quarantine 2 weeks going back. So, I mean, in order to do all that, you would think you're going to stay for a couple of months or something, like do the full work visa.
Well, yeah, because you have to come over for the finale of the tournament, and then if you win, you have to stay for the title match. So, I mean, there's no reason not to stay for a while. Just forever.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you could theoretically come over, win the belt, and then go and defend it in Japan.
Yeah.
And spend that same amount of time over there, really get the cred of the belt up.
Yeah, you definitely could.
And
I'm just all for seeing more Japanese women.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I mean, absolutely. I think that it really goes up in stock, because they're all so entertaining and the stories are so great. You really need there's a streaming service for the Tokyo Yoshi, and this is where all these girls come from. Is it Joshi or Yoshi?
I think it's Joshi. It's spelled Joshi. I don't know, though, how they pronounce it.
All right. So Joshi, Yoshi, Poshi, Maloshi. All right. Whatever it is, look it up. And you can get the streaming service. You'll get that and DDT.
It's on the DDT streaming service. Yeah.
So you're going to get some exciting action anyway.
Noah's on there, too.
Yeah, man. It's well worth it. It's like $9 a month. You just need to do it and get well organized with yourself, with your bad self.
Just do it.
So there's a lot of Japanese stuff. And, while you're at it, just get all of it. Just get it all, man. Get New Japan World. Get Dragon Gate.
Get Stardom.
Which is also worth it. Just forget your life. This is what you need to do.
Sit around watching Japanese wrestling all day long.
I would be happy. I swear to God to you. I swear to God, if I could have some sugar mama that was making $175,000 a year,
Right.
and was like, you know what? I just want you for sex and to have the house clean. You know, cleaning the house would be the most busy 10 minutes of my day. And I would be ready, you know, I'd blue chew up like 30 minutes before she got off work. I would have supper on the table because I'd be calling in the pizza. And, you know, man, the rest of the time, all day, I'd be watching some Japanese wrestling. That's like a fantasy for me. Like
That's the life.
I can't imagine that world.
Every housewife listening cringed when you said 10 minutes to clean the house, by the way.
Oh, kid off.
Like, we're not going to go into that discussion.
All right. Bunch of this women's lib is the wrong place for it, see?
It's not as much women's lib as reality.
Yeah.
Especially if you have children in that
Okay.
house.
All right. Well, listen, there's people out dying right now. We don't want to do that to them. It's time for the main event. We got to give them something exciting.
Yes. It's time for the best part of the night.
The greatest great of all greats. And that's because we're going into something killer. I can't believe this has been 22 years. I mean, it's so crazy. But for Valentine's Day, because we're talking all sweet and lovey and stuff, you know, we're talking about love. We're talking about arrows and hearts and cupids that look like Suzuki. You know? We're going to fall in love. You know, all this stuff. So,
we already pretty much see him in a diaper all the time. So.
Oh, my God. So anyway, we're gonna have a hell of a Valentine's because it's going to be the St. Valentine's Day Massacre. I think it's a great show. We're going to cover it right now. She has the copy of this. I don't. It's her doing research, not me. I'm just voicing my opinions on it. But I'll tell you, I haven't seen this show in probably 22 years. So
Since it happened.
Does I still feels the way that I did?
Was I precious?
We's gonna find out. Taters, what's taters, precious?
Oh, goodness. Well, the St. Valentine's Day Massacre took place on February 14th, 1999.
Oh, actually on Valentine's Day.
Of course.
That's good for WWE.
Would you expect anything
Yes. I would expect it like the 20th or something.
It took place in Memphis, Tennessee at the Memphis Pyramid.
Oh, wow. Good one.
And it was the 27th In Your House pay-per-view.
Yeah, man. I miss them. In
Your House is a lot of fun.
Yeah, for you guys, you younger listeners, In Your House was your in-between pay-per-view back then. It started out as being the inexpensive pay-per-view, so I don't remember the exact numbers, but let's say the main pay-per-view cost you $30.
Right.
In Your House is going to cost you $15.
There you go.
So you got maybe a 2-hour show, 2.5 hours. You got killer matches, but were you going to see a lot of times like, I don't know, Rock and Austin? No, but you might see Shawn and Mankind, I mean, something cool.
Well, if the network's to be believed, this one was actually 3 whole hours.
There you go.
They got themselves a whole show.
Yeah, I mean, they did develop that way, and it ended up just being that other pay-per-view, and it was In Your House, whatever.
So this event sold out several weeks in advance, breaking all Memphis wrestling records at the time, I imagine.
That's after the heydays of Memphis, and I have a hard time believing that. It has to be dollars for dollars and not seats.
Right.
Because they did some really big things in Memphis, and I'm not even talking about during the Lawler era, really, even predating that. But what was the attendance?
They had just over 19,000 fans in the Pyramid that night.
Wow.
And they made over $300,000 with almost $150,000 in merch.
Wow, the merch was on fire back then.
Yeah, everyone wanted that merch.
And yeah, the $316,618 in 1999 for the house would be $503,177.28 in today's money.
Wow.
And on the merch, you said was how much?
$143,215.
And that would be $227,601 in today's money in merch.
Wow.
So good little chunk more.
Really is.
And it gives you an idea, though, what that looked like at the time,
How impressive that is.
Yeah, exactly.
This card had 8 matches on it, and it was pretty split as far as rating goes because it only got about 48% thumbs up. So I guess people weren't really sure what to think of it.
Right.
They either loved it or they didn't, kind of thing. So I can understand that. Having looked at all the matches, there's kind of a split in this show between the first 4 matches and the last 4 matches as far as quality goes.
Oh, yeah. Well, but there could have been a great story going, or, You know, you never really know, especially with observer readers.
Yeah.
Because they're snotty like me.
Right.
So God only knows.
Well, I have notes on build-up, and the last 4 matches are kind of amazing build-up wise. But
Right.
these first 4 just kind of fell.
It's kind of there.
Yeah.
Sometimes they
kinda there.
did that. I mean, they just would throw them out there and see what stuck, you know.
Well, we started the night with Gold Dust against Blue Dust.
Ah. Wow, you know, I didn't even remember that happening. That's the Blue Meanie, right?
Yes.
Holy cow.
After Gold Dust got blue paint dumped on him,
Oh,
they had this match.
Meanie.
Gold Dust won in 3 minutes and 7 seconds.
Well, at least it wasn't long.
And they got -1 star.
And it probably deserved all of it.
We love you, Dustin.
Yes.
But,
I'm sure it was funny for what it was. There again, what you're missing out on here is 1999. That would have been that packed ass arena, right?
yeah.
Completely livid. I mean, packed with signs every 18 inches, not just
Yeah.
asses,
Yeah.
but some kind of sign. So you're having so much fun. All your friends are over. You're getting drunk. You're eating hot wings. I mean, this is fun shit back then.
Yeah, exactly. And that's what's important.
Yeah.
Is the fun.
Exactly.
So our second match was Bob Holly defeating Al Snow to win the vacant hardcore title in a 10-minute match. And the title was vacant because of Road Dogg being injured.
Right.
I should say.
No, I got you. And wow. I mean, Bob Holly and Al Snow, if you told me, hey, you got a Bob Holly, Al Snow, I'd be like, hell yeah, man.
Right.
I'll watch some hardcore Holly and Al Snow any day of the week. Al Snow is one of the best workers of all time. I loved him when he was, from the time he was in the Indies to Smoky Mountain, on up, ECW, everywhere. Al Snow is always one of my guys. I learned to love Bob Holly just from being the mean asshole that he is. I think that would be, for me, fun, but I didn't much care for the hardcore division, and I didn't like their pansy ass, you know, panty waisted, shiny Buckley shoes, and
Well, this
know.
match only got 1 star, so it wasn't all there
well,
that night.
yeah, I get it. Dave's not going to rate a hardcore match high.
Right, of course. So third, we had Big Boss Man against Midian.
Well, and there we are.
Another -1 star match.
So Midian, I didn't think this was ever going to be a story on the show. I mean, I didn't think about the story, didn't really care to think about the story, but I got a story on Midian. Good old Dennis Knight. Okay, so Dennis Knight was also Tex Slashinger before that in WCW.
Right.
And normally him and Shanghai Pierce were relegated to the WCW Saturday Night, which the mothership, if you will, the mothership. And there's a certain little match back in those days. I don't know, man. I'm trying to think what year it would have been. Obviously, they were there early 90s, but you see Tex Slashinger show up, and he's got a big shiner. Mm-hmm. So, you know, there's the big bad cowboy asses or whatever. And he's got a huge, huge shiner. You know why he got that shiner?
Why?
For picking a fight with the wrong guy in the Nashville Sound in Johnson City, Tennessee.
Oh, no.
And getting knocked the fuck out.
Wow.
So the big bad wrestler was on TV there, and I'm not going to tell any more about any of that except
no details.
Everybody knows who's involved. Arn Anderson was there, Rick Rude was there,
Oh my God.
a bunch of the boys were there, and my friends were bouncers. I'll just say that. 2 of my best friends in the world at the time were bouncers there. Well, I should say at the time, like a couple of years, probably the closest guys I ever had in the world there for,
Right.
but probably longer than that, probably a 10-year span.
Yeah.
You know, I love these guys more than anything. You didn't want to fuck with them. Okay?
Clearly not.
One of them was my tag partner, and my tag partner is the one that knocked him out.
Wow.
So, because he was the hothead.
He made history with that shiner.
My former tag partner made me look like a calm, collective individual.
Yeah.
And
Yes,
that's scary.
That
That is
true.
scary because, you know, it's scary. But it happened. And Arn Anderson actually apologized for the whole incident after it was over.
Oh, that's nice.
Well, he was trying to always keep when Arn would come in, he would just sit at the bar, mind his own damn business,
Right.
drink. And plus, let me say, those boys could all take care of themselves.
Yeah.
Okay, they could all take care of themselves. Rick Rude was actually so deceptively gigantic. He was as wide as he was tall, and just scary.
Right.
And plus, he's a bad son of a bitch. All right, so all these guys are bad sons of bitches, big, all this stuff. And Midian was the loudmouth.
Uh-huh.
And Midian was,
And he mouthed off to the wrong
well,
person.
yeah, like, what are you going to do about it kind of thing. And
Oh, goodness.
And the Superman punch was a thing, obviously, before the Superman punch was really a thing.
Right.
Because it was one of those launch things.
Yeah.
And just, all right, bastard. And,
this is what I'm going to do about it.
yeah. So
Wow.
it's an interesting little side note, right? So if you want to go back through the Saturday night episodes, and when you find it, let me know which one it is, because they talk about it on TV. They talk about the fact that he's got a black eye on television. I forget what story they throw with it, but that's the actual story.
And now you know the truth.
Now you do. That needs to be one of those Ask Arn Anything things. So on Arn's podcast, maybe I need to send that in.
How did he actually get that?
Yeah,
black
remember
eye?
that time Midian had the black eye? Could you tell me about that?
Oh, goodness. Well, rounding out the first half of the night, we had Owen Hart and Jeff Jarrett retaining the WWF tag titles by defeating D'Lo Brown and Mark Henry.
Wow.
It's a 9-minute, 34-second match and got 1 star.
You know, I'll tell you, man, that match sounds amazing now in hindsight, because you got Owen Hart, which is a legend, should be Hall of Fame in my opinion. Jeff Jarrett, you know, J-E-F-F, haha, J-A, haha, double R, haha, E-double-T. And you got D'Lo, who's an incredible worker, man.
Right.
He really is. D'Lo was always just entertainment personified. And, of course, they're Nation of Domination at the time. And Mark Henry, who is a bona fide Hall of Famer and also just a really entertaining guy to this very day on radio shows.
Mm-hmm.
So I love Mark Henry. He was just, I don't think he was ever used exactly right.
No.
And that's not a slight on Mark, because he was legitimately the world's strongest man, right? He
Yeah.
won the competition and all this. I think that there was more that could have been done there. Kind of like Shamrock. He was the most dangerous guy in the world and just
Yeah.
amazing. I think he should have came out like Ronda Rousey and been protected like that, you know? But no, this match, 9 minutes, 34 seconds, I guarantee you can go back and watch that and there's nothing but good work.
Interestingly enough, you bring up Ken Shamrock.
There you go.
Our next match was Val Venus versus Ken Shamrock
Oh my
for
God.
the Intercontinental Championship.
Oh my God. Was this in the Ryan Shamrock era?
Yes. Okay. This is where the
Oh,
build-ups start getting
wow.
fun.
Man, I used to
So,
want to do Ryan Shamrock so bad.
This match came about because Ken Shamrock's sister Ryan appeared at ringside to support him, but Billy Gunn and Val Venus got her attention, you know.
Mm-hmm.
So eventually Ryan ended up appearing in Val Venus's film Saving Ryan's Privates.
Yeah.
Which pissed Ken off, obviously.
Hello, ladies.
So they got into a scuffle, and as the refs were trying to separate them, they started attacking the refs. So Earl Hebner was like, we're not going to officiate this match. We don't want to do that because we might not be safe. So Billy Gunn offers to be the referee.
Yeah.
This match was not as good as it could have been. Apparently, Ken Shamrock was very sick, like leading into the match.
Oh,
and
wow.
even after the match, he had to stay in that city in Memphis to recover. But the whole story was that Billy Gunn slow counted the entire match, and then at the very end, when Val Venus caught Ken Shamrock in an inside cradle, he counted really fast.
Wow.
And then Venus won the Intercontinental Championship.
Damn.
That got 1.25 stars.
Man, I would be stupid like that too. Like, they'd be like, well, Ken Shamrock's a killer, but
Here's his hot sister.
here's his hot sister. I've been in that position with people's moms and stuff.
I laughed so hard when I saw the title of the adult film.
Oh, yeah. That's,
Jeez.
ladies and gentlemen, 1999, Vince Russo.
So after that, we had Kane and China against Triple H and X-Pac. So
Ooh, little
this-
Xbox heat.
this came about because there was an I Quit match where China turned on Triple H to join the corporation.
Mm-hmm.
Kane and China won this match, mostly because Shane McMahon got involved and took X-Pac
Shane
out of the
O'Mac.
ring.
Yeah.
So that got 2.5 stars. It's an exhibition match. I don't know. It's a match.
Well, I mean, it was 15 minutes of match.
Yes.
So, again, you put Triple H at that time period out there. You put China out there at that time. You put Kane, which everybody was scared to death of Kane at
Right.
the time. You know, you put them all out there with that kind of heat that everybody had. I mean, man, it was just a different world. Like, it really was a different world. You could have put a turd versus a dildo, and it would have been like the most exciting thing ever.
There would have been signs for it.
It would. There was signs for them anyway, trust me. There was girls flashing their boobies.
Oh, my goodness.
I mean, listen, this was a time period where we had accidental nudity all the time.
Right.
So, on purpose.
On purpose.
Yeah, it was, if it was the right kind of pay-per-view, you would see titties.
Okay.
Okay, they just did that.
Right.
Okay? they had girls in the audience that were lifting their shirts up to show the boys, you know,
Wow.
and that was the kind of, I mean, there was smoke hanging in the, you know, there shouldn't have been even then, but
Right.
you know, it was a wacky weed kind of stuff.
It's like a whole other universe.
Go back and watch videos of Woodstock 99 at some time. Okay.
It's same vibe.
Woodstock 99 was my people. And it got ugly, but I lived that every day. Like that,
Yeah.
the bad stuff that happened at Woodstock 99 when they burned the place down and
Yeah.
and everybody got diddled
Right.
was like a Tuesday night at the bar for me. So
There you go.
anyway, that encapsulated by WWE in 1999.
Yeah, it's exactly the same.
It really is.
After that, our co-main event, Mankind versus The Rock,
Oh, wow.
in a last man standing match.
Wow.
So this was for the WWF title,
Right.
and there had been so much fuckery leading up to this match.
Right.
I'm just gonna run through this really quick. So, leading into this match, The Rock won the WWF title at Survivor Series because Mankind lost the title by submission without actually tapping.
Okay.
That's how it starts. And then, a month after that, at Rock Bottom in Your House, Mankind won the title again by making Rock pass out to the mandible claw, but Vince wouldn't let him have it because The Rock didn't technically tap out. So,
Right.
after that, he got...
So is that not counted in the history books?
I guess not. I don't know.
I wonder if that's counted in the history books. That's a little side note there. I'll have to look up on I got a book over there. It's got it.
So, not long after that, on January 4th, Raw is War, Mankind got a championship match again, which he won, and then he lost it again at the Royal Rumble in an I Quit match because a recording of his voice was played, saying he quit.
Oh my God. I forgot. I've blocked that out.
And then, at Super Bowl 33, Mankind won the title back in an empty arena match during halftime heat by trapping The Rock under a forklift.
Yeah, now I do remember that. That was a big time deal.
So going into this match, Mankind is the champion, and they do a last man standing match so that there's no discussion on who the champion is.
Right.
There's gonna be a winner. And then they go and at the end of the match hit a double chair shot, and neither of them answer the 10 count.
Jesus. You
I would have lost my mind.
you would have already lost your mind by this point. But again, WWF was not the land of 5-star matches.
No.
Okay. It just wasn't. And Nitro wasn't much better, but they would have the occasional burner. I mean, they would have the occasional unbelievable match. Like, it was normally like the extra match on WCW always had an extra match on their pay-per-views that wasn't supposed to happen. And just because they were in such disarray normally, but
Oh, wow.
it was good. Like, I love their stuff because they featured the cruiserweights, and that was just so much fun. Like, they had a whole hour on a 3-hour show of cruiserweights
That's
normally,
amazing.
and I love the LWO, the Latino World Order,
Oh,
obviously,
wow.
because I'm like a Latino World Order guy to the point. By the way, I really want an LWO shirt, like the old school.
We'll have to find one of those.
I really want. I think they still might make it, man. I swear to God, I seen one the other day. It looked fresh. I'll have to check out WWE.com because I bet they own it because it's wrestling.
Right.
But no, man. Wow, that's crazy. I don't think even here I am complaining about some handcuffs.
Well, I mean, it's just a bunch of like Vince trying to keep Mankind from being the champion and like a whole bunch of that stuff. But
Dude, when he did the stuff in the 80s, you knew that Crockett was where you saw wrestling and there's where you saw cartoons. Then when it went through like steroid trial era and you had the new generation,
Yeah.
that was probably some of the best work in the early 90s that I remember, even though they had some cartoon characters come in and stuff. I loved the wrestling and a lot of those matches. That's when you got some of your like Shawn Michaels and Scott Hall, and it's not the first ladder match. There's always people like, oh, there was a ladder match in Birmingham, Alabama. Dusty and Tully basically had a ladder match at Great American Bash 87. I get it. But the first ladder match like this,
right.
Scott Hall and Shawn Michaels at the Garden, it was amazing and changed so much. And there was a lot of great stuff, but then you get this cartoon era. And then you get probably the best work era of all wrestling ever.
Right.
Just from I'm even talking New Japan or anything.
Wow.
Just from the caliber of athletes they had in the early 2000s.
Yeah.
When you had Chris Jericho, and I'm telling you, Chris Jericho, just ungodly. Chris Benoit, Eddie Guerrero, Triple H, William Regal, Kurt Angle, Austin. I mean, the list goes on, but you had all these top tier, top shelf, top of the page workers.
Yeah.
And they would give them 45 minutes. They would give them the time. And it was so amazing. And that's I hearken back to that in my mind, thinking, we'll get there again. Mm-hmm. You know, we'll get there again. Because
hopefully,
when you have the top production company in the planet,
yeah,
and you have this ability to see them so many hours a week, if they're putting on work like that,
yeah,
it's just so great.
Oh, I hope we get back to that.
So great. But
I hope we all can just love wrestling again all together.
Well, yeah, I think everybody loves wrestling. I think it's a beautiful thing being able to come on and talk about it, because the voices do get back. They can say they don't listen, but when enough people are talking about the same thing, it's got to go into your mind, into what you're doing, right?
Definitely.
And there's been, I mean, AEW was basically born out of things like this, out of the voice of the people and the podcasting, and you know, that's a federation for the people, for the boys, and
yes.
It's kind of born out of that. So I think it's a good thing. I think we all love wrestling. I'm not going to not watch Royal Rumble because of something like that. And this kind of puts it in perspective for me.
It's a different kind of wrestling.
It is. It absolutely
it's still
is.
wrestling, though.
It absolutely is a different kind of wrestling.
Well, even though this match had all this craziness leading up to it, they still got 22 minutes and 3 3/4 stars. So the match was still good.
So it gets me thinking about, okay, Trey Miguel, who is amazing, and I've actually been on several shows with Trey in the past, and he's a hell of a talent. And of course, he's famous for being in the Rascals with Desmond Xavier and Zachary Wentz, who just got signed to NXT, as everybody got to see their little NXT performance picture, right?
Oh, yes.
But they asked recently on a show, Taylor's Wild on podcast, Trey was on there, and he discussed why he didn't join NXT with his stablemates from the Rascals. And what he said was, I thought, pretty cool. Mm-hmm.
What did he say?
He said, Zach's married and Dez is engaged now, and they just need wrestling in a different way than I do right now, if that makes sense. They needed to do different things for them. And
it makes total sense.
Yeah, I mean, I totally get it. Like, he's in a position where he can keep working for less money, probably.
Right.
But where he gets to develop his character and be what he wants to be. You know, I think Trey Miguel can be a huge star.
Yeah, definitely.
And his worth's just going to go up.
Yeah.
Right now, if I was in my early 20s, I would not sign with NXT. I really wouldn't.
No.
I'd be afraid of being. I'd want it somewhere I could stand out.
You'd be stuck in that purgatory for 10 years.
Yeah. I'd really want somewhere I could stand. I mean, there is something to be said for that, too, because you can come out of that and, you know, like, oh, I was stuck in this purgatory for 10 years. Please give me a push. You know, I see that, too.
Yeah.
And then I have the ones that I really want to go somewhere else because they're not being used correctly, and they re-sign Cesaro. Oh. Who just resigned. It was it was in the sheets this weekend.
Sad.
So I guess family, money, stability.
Yeah.
You know, hey, I'm
having to throw yourself into a barricade.
I mean, look at it like this, okay? Wouldn't you love to be the guy that everybody thinks could be doing better somewhere else?
I guess.
That's in a mid card, but you're in a mid card where you've got nonstop action figures, endorsement opportunities. You're a star.
Yeah.
I mean, you are a bona fide worldwide star when you're in WWE.
There's something to be said for it.
Hour after hour after hour of programming, everything taken care of. I mean, they just had their most profitable year ever. Mm-hmm. You know, so yeah, I mean, I get it.
Yeah. I mean, it's hard to deny that kind of lifestyle.
Well, I mean,
for most people.
I have a hashtag Bruce Wayne job. And I wouldn't lose my Bruce Wayne job to go work at watching New Japan all day. No. You know what I'm saying? Like, I just couldn't do it because of the money I make and the work I've put in. And, you know, I've put in work for years and years and years to be able to have a job where I'm rewarded for the work I've put in for years and years and years.
Of course.
I couldn't go back down those rungs. I understand it.
It's understandable, yeah. I don't fault the guys for staying. I just fault how they're being used.
Yeah, exactly. So, with that said, what's our main event?
The main event of the St. Valentine's Day Massacre was Steve Austin and Vince McMahon in a cage match.
Yeah, man. This may be one of the greatest. I mean, it's debatable. It's brought up there with the greatest heels of all time ever. I mean, is this reason I still have his toy in front of me right now is because of what Vince McMahon did during this time period. Now, I was always a Vince McMahon fan. I was at a Wrestling Challenge taping in the late 80s. And when Vince McMahon came out on stage wearing a damn red jacket, man, I didn't know he owned the company. But I was a big Vince McMahon fan. He had an aura about him. And, he comes out there and he's just like, he's doing that cocky walk even then. And I was in the crowd watching him. I couldn't watch the match in the ring. Ted DiBiase was in the ring. And I couldn't watch because the whole time I was telling like people beside me like what these guys were in Mid-South. Like anybody that would come out, this poor guy beside me, I was like, yeah, he was really good in Mid-South. He's not being used correctly. I remember this as a kid, but Vince McMahon comes out on stage and I'm just like, I don't know, it's like angels shone down.
Mesmerized.
And I was just like, wow, that guy walks like a cock. Like if a cock wore a jacket and had shoes and a hairpiece, you would imagine it being Vince McMahon.
Yeah, I could see that.
Yeah.
Well, the reason they had this match in the first place is because Vince McMahon won the Royal Rumble this year.
Yes.
But because The Rock had the championship at the time, and they were both in the corporation at the time, he decided he was going to vacate the championship match. He's going to give it up. And then good old Commissioner Shawn Michaels comes in and says, well, if you give up your match at WrestleMania, the Royal Rumble runner-up will get it. Guess who that was?
Would it be Stone Cold?
It was Stone Cold Steve Austin.
Stone Cold! Stone Cold!
Vince was so mad about this that he let himself be talked into this cage match because Steve Austin said he would give up his match at WrestleMania if he could just have his chance to beat up Vince McMahon one time without legal ramifications.
Yeah.
And so this cage match was born. And
who hadn't wanted to put their boss in a cage and beat the crap out of it? I might give up a year's salary. I mean, not right now, obviously. I'm just talking about in the past at different times.
Well, the cage was to make sure it was a one-on-one affair.
Right.
To be fair.
Right. I got you.
So it was an 8-minute match, but really it was about twice that long because there was a lot go on outside.
Well, of course.
Before the match ever started, including Steve Austin hurting his knee early on, and then they just fought until they climbed the cage, and Vince McMahon took the gnarliest back bump through the Spanish announce table off the side of the cage.
Yeah, the Spanish announce table during this time period. You would not want to be the Spanish announcer. I'm just saying.
No.
it got killed back then.
Oh gosh, that bump, man. I'm surprised he took that.
Yeah, well,
that's like a Shane O'Mac bump.
Yeah, well, you got to get it from somewhere.
I guess.
Vince still does it, man. I mean, when freaking Jimmy Crack Corn didn't want to jump off the top during last year's WrestleMania for that stunt, Vince is like, just do it like this, pal. At his age now, he went and did the bump.
Oh, jeez.
I mean, he don't
He's
care.
Crazy.
Yeah, he is. He's freaking crazy. Some of the punches he's taken, he's old school, man. He'll ask you to do it, but he'll do it.
Yes.
Even now.
He'll show you that you could do it.
Oh, man, I love that guy.
So he was being taken out on a gurney, but Austin was like, it's not going to end that way, and grabbed him and dragged him back into the cage. So the match officially starts. After that massive bump, the match starts. And then when Austin goes to leave the cage the first time, he looks back and Vince is flipping him off.
Yeah.
So he goes back to beat him up some more, and they fight, and then when Austin goes to get out again, he's almost on the floor. He's out of the cage and nearly on the floor when he looks back and takes the bait again because Vince is now flipping him off with both hands.
Right.
That's such a great energy. I
love
that.
Yeah. It's fantastic.
Oh, man. He comes back in, which might not have been the best idea
for
him.
Right.
Because after he gets a stunner and he starts taunting Vince, Paul White, otherwise known as The Big Show, tears through the canvas of the ring and comes out, making his WWF debut, and starts beating on Austin, throwing him against the cage and all that. And when he comes to check on Vince, Vince is like, do it again, pal. So when he does it again, he throws Austin so hard that the panel of the cage swings open and Austin hits the floor, winning the match.
Now, you can say overbooked. I get it, but that's beauty.
Yes.
I'm sorry, but that's beauty.
Oh, man. That must have been an experience.
Live, yeah. It was. I mean, I told you when we were coming up with what we were going to do on this one, I was like, well, it's that time of year, and usually for Valentine's Day, you know, I always think about this and I'm always like, well, I'm going to go back and watch that again. And I'm going to have to. Now, I know you watched it in prep for this, but I got to go back and watch. You watch it again with me?
Yeah.
All right, cool.
Why wouldn't you want to?
Maybe we can
It's just fun.
Maybe we need to do that for the watch along.
Oh.
We can do it
Valentine's
this week.
Day watch along.
We'll pop it up for Valentine's Day just so we can see the crowd and see some of the signs. A lot of fun there. So
Yes.
I'm good with it.
Well, inadvertently, he allowed Steve Austin to keep his WrestleMania title match
Oh, yeah.
because they launched him so hard out of the cage.
And that's a reminder that we are in WrestleMania season, folks.
Oh,
So
we are indeed.
everything counts right now. It's a good time of year. It's just leading up to Christmas. So good stuff. I enjoyed it. Thank you for the recap.
You're welcome.
And I did not remember 3/4 of that. So
Well, now you did, and now you want to watch it. So
yeah, I do want to watch it. So that's a good job on
hopefully
you.
all of you want to go watch it too.
Yeah, maybe you'll watch it with us
You
because
should.
we will give some oohs and ahs. I guarantee you that much, and some fun. And just patreon.com/ don't write slash. You're just going to use the slash, but BT Wrestling Pod. So that's the way to find it. And it's BT Wrestling Pod on everything for the lovely, mysterious, tarot reading, crazy Valentine girl, Raja. My name's John. So long from the BT Wrestling Pod.
You'll never see it coming.